There's a sixth sense beyond that which is known to man. The sense is sought after as the Holy Grail, and as precious as immortality. It's the middle ground between light and shadow, between science and entertainment, and it lies at the pit of a man's fears and the summit of his genius. This sense, of course, is a sense of humor, and this is Sense of Humor TV.
What's up, everybody? We're back with another episode of Sense of Humor TV. As usual, got Noah here.
Hello.
Got Alec on the ones and twos, and then we have a special guest today, my friend, fellow comedian, podcaster, film producing, TV, everything. She's
workaholic who does not sleep. Yeah.
Woman of many hats. Demi York. Thanks for coming on.
Hi.
Yeah, thanks for being on. We got Sandy
Thanks for
now.
having me.
She was obviously gone for the
We
last two
have baby.
episodes.
She's back.
She's
She's
being a brat.
I mean, let her be a woman.
There we go. See, we have Sandy. We've had.
You have an ally finally in the room.
Yeah, we've had too many women on recently, or men on recently, so she's been.
Yeah. I
missing.
mean, are they men who act like pussies? Maybe.
Do you have Moose on your podcast?
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, Moose is her famous dog.
Moose is my dog. She literally, if you say, "Hey, Moo, you want to go to the studio?" She runs and
Really?
sits by the door because she has a good friend named Noodle, who's Mark, who owns the studio's dog, and they treat each other like the most delightful business associates.
Yeah, like, oh, I'm
they
clocking in.
They're like excited to see each other, and then they're like, "Sup?" And then just go sit in their respective corners.
I love it.
And I fuck with
How
dogs
big is
that
she,
act
by
like
the way?
that. Moose?
Yeah, she's like
40 pounds.
Oh, okay.
She's like awkwardly tall. She's like a weird deer with a lion's mane. It makes no sense.
Yeah, as you guys know, we're dog lovers, so
Yeah.
sorry to start with dog information.
I'm
but,
not.
Yeah.
I'm not sorry at all. You don't know me.
We always start. I feel like half the time we start, we always talk about like how I met somebody, and there you go, get Sandy. Demi's one of the only, maybe the only comedian I'm friends with that I met outside of comedy. So randomly.
Yeah.
Ray, who was the first ever person I had on the podcast, he was talking to your friend, I think. He's like trying to like talk, a little game, and then
Everybody's always trying to talk game to my friend.
yeah, right. And she was like, oh, I'm here with my friend, and she's like, oh, I'm here with my friend, and then somehow they said something about, I don't know who said first about us being a comic, and then I came up, they're like, hey, you gotta meet this girl's friend, she's a comedian, and then I just like started talking. It was at 4100, which you guys know I'm always at.
Classic.
Yeah, 90% of the time.
Yeah.
But
Would you like to feel like shit the next morning? Go to 4100.
yeah, if you want a hangover. But no, it's so funny because it was like, and then then you think in your head, you're like, all right, am I ever gonna see this person again? And then I would see you all the time, and then I didn't see you for a little bit, and then we did Doug's show on Thanksgiving Eve. Thanks, Sandy.
Oh yeah, the Basshole
trying to
show.
fuck me
Yeah.
again.
I'm not an asshole. That show was so hard for me because I'm really a nice person.
Yeah, the only asshole was there was one of the judges. I won't say who. Fuck that guy.
Oh my god. Oh, I've never wanted to just throw hands with someone on, and I was mean to him on stage.
Oh,
I went at him.
I know. I went after you, and I was like, oh, I'm like, as soon as I got off stage, Sean was like, dude,
We all hit a level where we were all like, everybody hates this
Yeah.
fucker. Like,
What club was this at?
This was at the Improv.
Yeah,
But this guy, and then he was like, I book a club in San Diego. I go, yeah, which one? And he goes, and he said it, and I was like, you think I ever want to do that fucking place? I was like,
Fuck you, no one cares.
I was like, I have a show at the Ice House, but you'll never fucking. But it's so funny too because like I would talk to like Bart, Nick, all these people who know this guy, and not to out because
No one speaks well about him.
nobody, and I was
Nobody
like,
speaks highly of
yeah,
this
yeah.
person.
And
One of those.
I literally said it to Joe. I go, I finally met whatchamacallit, blah blah blah, and he goes, yeah. Why didn't you? He goes, why do you think I didn't come? He goes, I was gonna come and hang out until I saw that he was on it.
Until I saw that
Because he's cool with Doug too. Like, yeah. But anyway, what a turd. But anyway, it was good to see you.
Yeah, it was great to see you. And we were both so stoked. We were like, oh, we don't really get to do a lot of shit together.
Yeah,
like,
so I'm
not
glad
that we
that-
don't get to, but we just never.
100%,
It never
like,
works out that way.
100%. So it's cool that
I'm
we're
the
kind of
token woman for different shows.
100%. Yeah. So you'll be seeing Demi on a Auguste, DeRose-Jones and Jokers here coming up. But no, it's like again. But every time I see you like outside of comedy, inside comedy, you're always fucking fun. I always hanging out with you. So it's like that's another thing. Is like
I'm
having.
a attention whore. That's really what it is.
Hey, us comics. So, you know what I mean? Like,
My
but no,
dad hated me, so everyone else has to love me. Yeah.
yeah, I know. I literally last night it was like a parade of everyone who was on the show that just kept coming up and being like, yeah, so my parents are divorced. My parents hate me. My parents like it was just a line of like. But Jessica Keenan got up 8th and she was like, am I going to talk about my parents now too? Like, and she did. She was
So
like,
you
yeah.
guys group therapy sessions
like,
too in the
we all
green room.
we all have that in common. But you're from Ohio, which obviously I have a my dad's was from Ohio. Like I have a connection with Ohio, obviously being a PA guy. But did you start stand up in Ohio or?
So I actually started stand up by getting into like drag shows.
Really?
Yeah, like so I used to help host drag shows.
Okay.
And one of the queens one day was
I've been
like,
to Hamburger Mary's. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. You done Sam Hale shit there? Sam Hale used to
I've done
run
Sam
some
Hill,
stuff
but I've
there.
also just went for like a drag brunch.
It's fun.
Yeah.
Drag brunch is so fun. You want to get wasted and maybe win a TV? Go to drag brunch.
We've had a couple at the Ice House.
You ever been to drag brunch?
Yeah, we had some at the Ice House. They're fucking
Yeah, you gotta
nuts.
go to Hamburger Mary's though. I love the Ice House. But
I
you gotta
accidentally
go to
went there
Hamburger
one time. There was a girl that in high school that was like, we should go. Like we were going on a date. She was like, we should go to Hamburger Mary's. I was like,
She was
"It's probably
definitely
a diner."
testing if you were like a nice ally.
Yeah.
She was like, do you fuck with gay people?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm already here. I showed up. I was like, wait a minute. It's
You're
not
like,
like a little
sick.
diner spot.
How do you tape that on? Like, yeah.
My gay black friend, he won the twerk contest when we were there.
Whoa.
I was like, yeah, and he killed it. I was like, yo, you're fucking killing it right now. As someone who
yeah.
can't dance for shit, I was like, I'm proud of you, buddy. Like, I was like,
Proud of you, buddy.
Yeah.
No way, you're from PA and you can't dance. That's crazy.
Yeah, right.
Crazy
So I
behavior.
can do my little.
Oh
you
my
know,
God, the white
snap.
people shuffle.
Oh, little white man
We don't do
overbite.
the white
and
people
just-
shuffle.
yeah.
I'm
Bite your
it's
lip.
all on the shoulders. It's on the shoulders. We
Yeah.
don't do the Charlie Brown, the
Yeah. Yeah. As someone who has a black girlfriend, she likes to dance, and I am shit. You know,
You're supportive.
I'm
and
supportive.
That's what matters.
Yeah. I danced with her on her birthday. I said, there you go. It's happy birthday.
But I started, and one of the drag queens essentially was like,
Was that out here though?
no, this is like in Ohio.
Oh,
It was
okay.
like in college. So
Okay.
essentially I was like doing it, you know, just I was in the closet. I was queer and nobody knew yet. And I was like, oh, I like girls, but I also like boys, and I like people in between. This is so weird. And you know, in Ohio, that's like,
Yeah.
especially now that it's like a super red state, even though it used to be a swing state. It's a lie now. But sorry, that was existential dread that just came out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so one of the drag queens one day was like, you should do stand up. And I was like, you know, I was getting ready to move out here because I moved out here originally for film and television.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know, I've always loved stand up, and I've been like, I own all of Robin Williams' old specials on vinyl. I also own like Cheech and Chong. I own all of George Carlin on vinyl.
Love it.
Like, I'm a huge vinyl collector. It's one of my
That's
it's one of
amazing.
my TISM
Yeah.
centrics thing.
Yes.
So yeah, I moved out here. I got kind of settled in, and I was like, well, fuck it. I'll
Yeah.
try it, you know, and because she was like, you know, you essentially do 10 every day when you walk onto the stage,
Yeah.
and you're great at it. So because I came from that background of like having to make a lot of straight people really comfortable with the environment that they were in,
Yeah.
it
Make
actually,
it an awkward
I think it
situation.
really,
Yeah.
really helps because like it makes me really not afraid of a really uncomfortable
Where was the
room.
first place you went up out here?
Oh God.
I'm always curious.
First club or first mic?
Both.
That's a big.
Both,
That's
both.
a different
Give me both.
question. I think first club, like everyone. I
Flappers?
feel like that started. No, haha.
Oh, okay.
I feel like for me it was haha, and then first mic. Remember Chris Wallace? He used to run a mic at a pizza place. I think that was the first mic I ever
Really?
did. And I really only did like 10. And then I basically started booking all the time,
Yeah.
which is really, it sounds mean, but it's just kind of how it worked for me.
Uh-huh.
But like when you're nice and you're punctual and people think you're funny, people will book you.
Yeah.
That's, I think, the best lesson that no one ever tells you in this business.
No, I mean,
is
100%.
don't be an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. I can't tell you how many people it's like. I mean, now that I run my own show, they're like, I want to be on, and I'm like, oh, you're not funny. Like, it's such a
or
hard.
you're like,
it's-
oh, you're a dick.
or that, yeah. Where I'm like, yeah, I don't want to hang out with you or be
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
you. Yeah, like that happens too. But it's I don't know. It is funny though. Like how many times I've told people like they'll be like, how do you get booked, blah 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 blah, and it's like, dude, you gotta hang. You gotta be a good.
Yeah,
hang.
you gotta
Like,
be a good
Just
hang.
be cool.
It's such a
That's it.
underrated thing. And
Just
like,
be nice.
Yeah.
yeah, and go to people's shows and like blah blah. Blah. People are like, I won't go out unless I'm booked. I'm like, well, you know, like,
Dude,
it's
sometimes it's just like I'm having a bad day, and I'm like, I'm gonna go to the store.
Yeah, 100%.
Half the time I run into people,
100%.
It's just like I got booked on Doug's show one day, the one that we did together,
Yeah.
because Doug had been meaning to book me, and he was working at the Improv or something,
Mm.
and I walked in, I was having a bad day, and I was going to meet up with Brian Moses was also working.
Okay, yeah.
So I went to say hey to Brian, and Doug was also there, and I was just like, oh, fuck it. So Doug was like, are you here Thanksgiving Eve? And I said, bitch, you know I cook Thanksgiving. You know I cook.
And look, then you booked it.
I can't leave.
and then you book a gig. Yeah.
And then he was like, well, yeah, you should come do my show. And I'm like, great. He goes, Jay's gonna host, and I went, great. I love fighting with Jay in public. Yeah. So, because Jay and I have been really good friends for a really long time.
Yeah.
And he
Love Jay. Shout out
well,
Jay.
and that shout out Jay Washington. Well, and then it was funny because he was judging me, but I was cooking his Thanksgiving dinner the next day. So he was like, I can't say anything.
Yeah.
He was like, she will poison my potatoes so fast.
I know. It was so funny because that stretch in November, I was on I did 9 shows in 3 weeks, and he was on 6 of them. So
oh yeah, because Jay is the person who's like, hey, can I pop by?
He like I said last time, he was like, I need to get tape, I just need 5 minutes, blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, which I respect so much.
You know me, it's like if I can help you out, I'll help you out.
Yeah,
and it's funny
you're
because
a good person.
Thank you.
That's why you get booked.
Thank you. Yeah, but it's just funny because
funny.
Thank you.
That's
yeah,
also
that helps.
It's not just because you're nice.
Thank you. But no, that's cool. It's it's funny too because I moved down here originally for I did a movie, and then stand up kind of just took off, you know. But I still do film and stuff like that, but I don't know. I just love the immediacy of stand up too. I just was on a thing for HBO Discovery a couple weeks ago, and it was I was there for 15 hours, and I'm just this is long. This is so long. And it's not gonna come out for fucking 2 years.
Try working that other side, baby.
Yeah.
It's your whole life
Oh
for
my
months.
God.
Yeah, I think there's a special blend of happiness that you get from making a room of people laugh.
Yeah.
Especially, I know that a lot of people hate this, but my favorite thing to do is follow somebody who just ate shit.
Oh.
I love following someone who just
bring up the room.
Yeah.
and burn. Because you walk on that stage and they're like, it's only downhill from here. Every person in that audience hates you because you are now another image of that last person that they hated. And I once followed this girl. I won't name her name. I don't know if she's still doing stand-up. Actually, fuck her. She's a bitch. Polly Wally. So she sang a really weird, anti-Semitic song. And I just remember sitting there going, what? The whole time.
Wait, what is this? Where's the punchline?
And mind you, I was supposed to be in the prime spot that she ended up taking because she was like, oh, I have to leave. I have to go to a really big event that's a family thing after this. And I, being a nice person, was like, not a big deal. I don't have shit to do after this. I already did my other gig, so I'll wait. It's fine. I'll go up at the end.
Right.
I understood why she was at the end almost immediately.
Oh.
Almost immediately.
They were like, no one wants to fucking go off after this.
Exactly. There's always that buffer at the end after the headline where it's like, oh, and this is the last person that we just wanted to give stage time to so they'd shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
So she essentially does this really anti-Semitic song. Everybody in the audience is just angry.
Yeah.
And
why did I just listen to this?
And
bullshit?
I'm just sitting there and I'm watching with horror on my face I'm
about to go up.
have your lighter, please. With just absolute horror. And I'm just like, fuck me, this is awful. And
was that the haha?
No, this was I don't know if you ever did his shows. Dude named TK. I think there's a
Here,
hole.
I'll get it.
Yeah, but his name's TK. He used to run this show called The Rebels of Comedy. And then I think it changed name, whatever, it didn't matter. It's old show. And does this really weird racist ass song. And
this guy does?
This girl.
Oh, girl.
And I'm just like, cool. Now, there's one person ahead of me and then me, and I'm just like, cool. So now I'm stuck in this really weird spot, and I'm like, I'm just gonna have fun. You guys are gonna hate anything that comes out of my mouth anyways, because the guy after her was also bad.
Yeah.
And so I'm just sitting there. There was a sweet old lady who had a cane. And I thought that was the funniest shit for some reason. I was just like, I never see cute old ladies with canes at comedy shows. So I asked her if I could borrow it while I was on stage. And I literally waited until the very end and I did that hello my baby, hello my darling girl.
The old
yeah, with the cane. And then I got off the stage after interviewing these old ladies my whole time on stage. And it was great. But there was nothing better than being the palate cleanser for that room.
100%.
Of oh, thank God I get to leave here not hating my life. Because there's nothing worse than when you see someone bomb and then the next person who goes up bombs and then it keeps a parade of bombing.
Oh, I mean,
and you're just
you
sitting
lose all
there
hope.
and
Yeah.
you're like, oh no, they're going to be so cold.
go to the
They
U-
might even
go to-
leave by the time I'm up there.
go to the Yoo-Hoo room at Flappers on a Friday night. That's all you'll see is 17 comics on a lineup, each
17
doing
comics,
5 minutes.
8 Armenian parents. Yeah.
All doing 5 minutes. Dude, I don't miss doing that.
I threw hate on Flappers once, and somebody apparently
Hey, you and
around
everybody
me
else.
booked it and was like, we give them a lot of opportunities. So I was like, what opportunities to realize this isn't for you?
Oh my God, dude.
Jesus
Did you
Christ.
see during the fires, the one of the first nights that it got way out of hand and everyone got displaced. They like were posted on Twitter and Instagram like, our hearts goes out to like the people who lost their houses. If you've lost your house tonight, we will give you 2 free tickets to Jay Leno tonight. I was like, what the fuck?
Poor Jay Leno, he's really trying to make that bitch stand.
He tried to buy it.
I know.
Yeah, and then she was like, "Well, yeah, you can buy it, but I have to stay. Like, you have to let
But
me."
I'm staying.
And he was like, "Absolutely,
Absolutely
not.
not. The whole
The
point
reason
is
this
to
place-
get rid of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. But no, I love hearing like people's like like stories of getting started and everything like that because I don't know because it takes like
We all come from really weird
and
ways.
it just takes like a weird like I would say you have to have like a like I hope for us like it's like a good level of narcissism. You know what I mean? They'll be like, all right, we don't have music, we don't have anything. It's just your like thoughts and ideas and like whatever. So I don't know. I feel like you have to have like that blind confidence that you can do it.
Yeah,
you know?
I think you have to have a really
Demi.
nice mix of self-hatred and confidence.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to say it. That's the best way. I never
Yeah.
heard someone
Do you
say it,
hate
like-
yourself?
Yes,
But
I do.
also,
I really
can
do
you laugh
actually.
at
Yeah, I have a
yourself?
terrible. Like, but that what you were kind of saying earlier is like it does. It's like even yesterday I was having a terrible day all day, and then I went and did my show and I like felt great after.
Well, it's an energy exchange,
Yeah.
right? So, like, I always hated, like, during the pandemic, people were like, well, why won't you do Zoom shows? I'm like, because it all goes out and none of it comes back.
100%.
Like,
I never did the Zoom
I'm
thing
not
either.
getting anything from somebody going silently.
It's gotta
in a
feel
corner.
awkward.
Like, and I'm not looking at that either, because when you're doing stand-up, although it might look like I'm looking at you, I'm not really looking at you.
Yeah.
Unless you're, like, in the front and I'm
Looking
throwing it a little
straight
bit crowd.
through
Like,
you.
I'm looking above the top of your fucking head, so the
Yeah.
camera pointed at me
Yeah,
can get me
that
the
is
right
a weird.
way.
That is a weird thing. I was thinking about that last night where I was like, I'm kind of because you want to like survey the crowd.
Well, and you also want to make everyone feel important.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. You want to like make sure I'm like, all right, I'm doing. I'm not just like staring at this one side, but I'm also not really looking at anybody.
Yeah, but also I'm looking through you.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at
I was
you.
I was thinking about that while I was on stage, which is probably not the best thing to be thinking of, but I was thinking about that last night.
Isn't it crazy how you can do that? You can
Yeah.
literally be talking at a mile a minute, but you have 18 other thoughts coming through the back of your mind.
It's like driving, and sometimes you space out, and you're like, oh shit, I've just been driving for like.
Dude, have you ever disassociated the whole drive home and you're like, I somehow got here.
Yeah.
I don't know how I
Yeah,
did.
you're like, I don't
Yeah.
even remember.
I do that all the time.
I couldn't
I
tell you what I
yeah.
just passed. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing of a
30
comic is
seconds.
like we're talking to ourselves a lot in our heads, like you know what I mean. So it's like I'll be having a conversation with myself and be like, oh fuck, I don't remember the last 5 minutes I've been driving this car. Like,
That's the perfect analogy.
Oh my god. Yeah, well, I mean, and sometimes like I think especially like when you do stand up the way that we do it, because we were talking about this before we started recording, that
Yeah.
we don't do word for word. Like, I'm not writing out every joke word for word. There are points that I need to hit. There are outlines for every joke, but I'm not going, oh my god, I missed the word is. Like, I'm not
were you
crying
ever
over
that way? Like, did you
I
start
was
out?
when I started
Me too,
out, because
okay.
I'm a big writer, because that's my main profession really outside of this is writing and producing. So I was like, cool, this is how it should be done. And every great comic researches and writes, because a lot of my stuff is political and stream of consciousness and about my experience as a queer woman in America, and especially coming from a dad who's from the South. But I would be sitting there and I would just be like, now when I'm doing this work, I'm changing the joke in real time to what the audience is reacting
Yep.
to. So I'm speaking, but my thoughts are 18 miles ahead of what's coming out of my mouth.
100%.
And then have you ever had that moment where you say the wrong word because it's the thought that you were thinking?
100%.
And then you have to recover really
Yeah.
fast, which makes your thoughts go
Yeah,
like the
and
whole
it's
time.
also the weird thing too. I'm sure you have had this too, where it's like it sometimes matters like the way.
This hates me.
Yeah, it sometimes matters like the way you say things. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like say like because like sometimes
It's your
like
cadence.
Yeah, like I do that one joke talking about my name, and I used to say like for whatever reason if I would be like, oh, when I say my name's August, they'd say like like one of three things, but like the way I would word those one of three things, it mattered so much for some reason.
Yeah.
Like I would, the first thing I say is like, people are like, I was born in August, and I'm like, but if I don't, that one always hits if I say that one first instead of like saying I like your name. I don't know why, but it's like weird.
People, I judge people specifically on which Demi they relate me to
Really?
in Hollywood. Like, if you say Demi Lovato, I'm automatically like, we will not be friends. Like, at all.
It's funny too because Demi's not like that common of a name.
It's not. So, like, it's really been weird for me, like, with all the substance buzz about Demi Moore, who I'm actually, like, I'm named after Demeter, the Greek goddess of harvest. So my full
Ooh.
name growing up was actually Demetria.
Yeah.
So whenever I'm in trouble, my mom yells, Demetria!
My-
and that lights a fear of God
That's
under
scary.
my
My great grandfather's middle name was Demetrius. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Augustus Demetrius Sahaji Ahiri.
Yeah, it's
Whoa.
like
Yeah.
very common in Greek.
Yeah.
But my mom is a hippie pagan.
Yeah.
So she
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, my mom she loves that shit.
Our mom are the same people.
Yeah, probably.
My mom rode with a pagan like biker group and shit too.
Dude, oh my god. Is
Like,
your mom a member of any of the Facebook groups?
Probably.
Okay, so
She
my
loves
mom
Facebook.
gets
You know, parents.
yeah, she loves that shit. They're
She's gonna watch it. She's
I'm
gonna be
gonna
like,
get
"Oh,
together
yeah,
with my
dude."
high school friends. Yeah,
That's
But
crazy.
My mom is a member of all these like pagan Facebook groups,
That's
and
crazy.
she'll be like, "Oh my god, Kathy thought that you need a black candle for this. You need a black crystal
That's
for that."
too funny.
And it's like she gets so uppity about it. And
Yeah.
like, you're snooty pagan.
That's so
I didn't even
funny.
know that could be a thing. You snooty
Our
ass
moms
bitch.
are the same people. That's crazy.
Oh, we should link them up.
It's just so funny. Yeah, like my name I was either gonna be named Auguste, Dimitri, or Vincenzo. So Dimitri again.
Wow,
like,
we would have been way too
Vincenzo.
similar.
Vincenzo. Yeah.
Vincenzo.
Yeah.
Okay, are you a Capulet or a Montague? Like,
But that's why like August it's spelled like anyway Greek the whole Greek
Yeah,
thing is
with the E.
The E.
Yeah.
So that's why like when I went to Northern Africa I saw a statue of Augustus Caesar and it was spelled because he was born in France so it's spelled with an E.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I have a picture of it. I was like shit this is crazy.
oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But everyone as soon as people were like Augusti I'm like
Dude, after you left the ice house last night, Kike was walking around. He's like, "Where's Augustus? Where's Augustus? Where's Augustus?" I'm like, "Who? Who the fuck is Augustus?" He's like, they
I closed out with Chris. That's what he was like. I don't want to deal with you, KK. Sorry, but yeah, I closed out with Chris and gave him a nice cash tip. But
Always tip your people in cash.
100%.
We cheat the IRS in this house.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. If you guys are watching, we pay our taxes on time.
We pay our taxes.
But
sometimes.
yeah, fuck it, Kike. Anyway, fucking. But no, it's. I love like hearing like. So is York? What is that? Is that
So okay, so my family history is my mom's side of the family came here from Poland.
okay?
So I'm like a second generation American on my mom's side.
Okay.
And then on my dad's side of the family has been here since like before the revolution.
Oh shit.
Like
He's American.
American.
Yeah.
And like my dad's side of the family is so funny because I got into like genealogy at one point when I was in high school because I was trying to get a scholarship that you basically have to prove that you're a part of the like revolutionary bullshit.
Take money from the government.
Yeah, fuck, I'll take it.
Yeah,
like
I'll take it. You're giving it.
You aren't giving me anything else except for
yeah.
a high interest rate
Yeah.
on Sally Mae. So,
Yeah.
I went through all this stuff, and I'm so lucky. I came from the branch that fought for the Union.
There you go.
Because I have cousins who came from the branch that fought for the Confederacy,
Yeah.
and you can see the stark difference in our intelligence levels. It's like who was inbred and who
Yeah.
knew better.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, when people give me shit for being white, I'm like, I'm Greek and Italian. Like
I'm a different level of white,
My
okay?
parents, they've been over here since like the 20s, maybe.
I'm not
like,
backwoods fucking
Yeah.
my cousin in
Yeah.
Alabama white.
Yeah, exactly. There's
There's levels.
Good girl.
Baby.
But no, that's So York is like just American.
It's Scottish and Irish.
Okay.
Because that's where my dad's family is originally from.
Gotcha.
That's
Do you have
why I
red hair?
Curly hair. Yeah, it's
Okay.
why I have curly reddish hair.
What's funny because we probably have never hung out during the day, but people like comics and stuff. They'll be like, "You have like red in your beard," and stuff? Like they'll like because they're used to see me at night and it like looks
Yeah,
like brown.
and everything looks dark.
Exactly.
In the comedy club lighting,
yeah. So I have a little Welsh in me. I think that's where it's from.
Oh yeah.
Little Wales.
Sheep fuckers.
Yeah. Or yeah. But no, I'm always like I'm definitely like that kind of dude that's interested in genealogy and stuff like that.
I think it's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. I don't know
I
why,
love that
but-
weird show with Lisa Kudrow where it's like
Oh, yeah.
it's like she goes through the genealogy of like famous people.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh god.
Well, I'm just a history.
I love
person, too.
finding out that weird Brad Pitt has this crazy fucking relative, and you're like, that makes sense.
You're a writer too, like that. I think that's another thing I just knowing that about you, like I love about you, because like that's how I got started in this whole thing. Is I was working in professional sports, and then I showed I wrote a pilot, and some couple people saw it, and they're like, you should be doing this, and I was like, all right.
Yeah, because you worked in hockey, right?
Yeah, I was hockey and I worked in for the NFL too, like for the Raiders. So
Cool.
yeah, so I literally we just won the Stanley Cup. I have a Stanley Cup ring. You know, like everything should be good, but I was miserable because like I'm a creative person, you know, and I'm in a fucking cubicle. And,
The cubicle prison for
cubicle.
someone who's creative is the
Oh,
worst.
it just drove me crazy because I was like, you know, it was cool. I have a Stanley Cup ring. I can go to the games. You know what I mean? But I just wasn't.
Yeah.
So I
You're like, I have something to pawn if I ever really get a bad place.
exactly. Yeah, trust me. It was more than my salary, that ring. But which is my salary wasn't a lot. But
You were in a cubicle. It wasn't
but it's
a lot.
it's funny too because like I like. So I wrote this pilot, showed it, and then they were like, "You should be doing this," but I didn't know where to start. So I just blindly started like going to, you know, open mics in Pittsburgh and fucking like I was in like I did like a background in like the Mr. Rogers like Tom Hanks movie, and then I ended up shooting something with Seth Rogen. And I was just an extra background. You know how uncommon this is. You work in the business. Like I was just an extra, and they called me like 3 months later, like, hey, would you want to come back and shoot this scene with Seth? And I was like, yeah.
That's so rare.
So rare. Like
that never happens.
Never
happened.
Yeah, really, never. So I was like,
it's really crazy. Actually.
Really. So that's when I was like, all right.
It's like doing a short film and being like, you want to be in this Oscar scene?
yeah. And so I'm shooting all day with like him, and then I was like, you know what, I'm moving back to California, and that was like when I just said fuck it, and like left and everything. But it's crazy. It all started from writing, and I still consider myself like a writer, and like.
Well, and writing is a muscle, right? So like even when you're doing stand up, even though we don't write it word for word, you're still writing the complete outline, which I think is a muscle that people really don't realize, like especially people who don't really want to do stand-up or aren't actual stand-ups who are doing stand-up, who are like, I'm an actor, but my agent told me I'd have a better chance at getting stuff if I do stand-up. You're like, I hate you. Stop taking stand-up time away from people who actually want to do stand-up. 100%. There's nothing that makes me more viscerally angry
100%.
than when someone's like, oh, I'm not really passionate about this, but my agent said it was a good idea.
I feel like that picked up after the pandemic, too.
I hope you fucking stub your toe every Sunday. I hope you never have a peaceful day at the market. I hope that every old lady cuts you in line at Ralph's so you can't say anything about it. It's all about tiny little manageable hexes that if the karma comes back on you, it's not a bad problem.
Do you know the song Baby Blue by Action Bronson?
Yeah.
Yeah, you sound like that right
now. Exactly. Okay. That's how I feel
I was like, that's why I love
it.
you, because I'm like, she's going to get this obscure fucking reference right now.
Oh my God. I was like listening to Marlon Craft the other day, and I was like listening to his song too, and so I was like, oh, hate those bitches. But yeah, I mean, it's like, it's a muscle, and writing is a muscle, and when you do stand up, it's a completely different set of muscles, because not only are you writing, you have to have the public speech capability. Like you see some people who are like I know you don't know him, but Arthur Hamilton, he's very quiet on stage. I could never do that. I could never be quiet. I can't even be quiet sitting here in a house. Oh, sorry, baby. My Italian hands.
Yeah, we talk with our hands. She knows.
Hands.
She's a paisan.
But, you know, it's like I can't be quiet to save my life. So, like, he relies so heavily on the specific cadence and the specific way he says his words, that is writing in speech pathology as well as writing in the actual speech that you're saying.
Yeah, no, I think that's such, like, I'd love, you just articulated that perfectly, because I it's like stuff that I subconsciously like think of, and even what you're saying about, like, I think us as writers like take it more like, not seriously is the right word, but it's like, it is that thing where I get annoyed when I'm like, oh, you don't love this, like, you know what I mean, like, you don't love doing this, and like, and I think another thing that you've probably noticed, Noah, too, is like, it sucks when someone is up there and I'm like, your jokes are good, like, you're a good writer, but you're a shitty performer, and like, you know what I mean, like, no one's listening,
but no one wants to look at you,
and that's a big part of it. Like, I think people
that's where an agent can be helpful.
100%. Like, people don't understand, like, you have good material, but you can't, like, that one thing since I started that I've had, and like, I've become a better, obviously, comic as you do it, but like, I've always been able to get the room to pay attention, because I would do dive bars in Pittsburgh and people aren't paying attention, you know what I mean? So I was like, how am I gonna get them to stop watching? Like, I have a picture that if I ever like shoot a special, I'm gonna post it side by side. I have a picture of the hockey game projecting on my face while I'm doing stand-up. And I'm like, the hockey team that I just left, a puck is going across my head. Like, I'll show you the picture when we get off camera. It's hilarious picture. It's like, I show it to people and they're like, this is so degrading. I'm like,
oh, there's nothing worse than when you're doing like a bar show and there's a huge game. I once played during a Dodgers series game, and it's like a super like Latino neighborhood, like up near Whittier, and I'm like, nobody's looking at me. I'm like talking about my vagina and like going to the gynecologist and having like fucking vagina cancer, and there's this fucking kid in the audience, like the only one paying attention is a 7-year-old. You're like, you don't even know what a cervix is.
This is my audience
like,
right here.
Jesus.
It's so funny to think about that, but even like, but I think it all comes from, if you're a good stand-up, you're a good writer, but it's performing, it's the other, and then there's some people who get people's attention, and I'm like, you have a wild act, but like, you know, that's why it's kind of also art.
But you don't do anything.
Yeah, there's no stuff
of
like
substance.
Yeah, there's no punchline. Like, I hate when I'm like, we were talking about that girl doing that terrible song. It's like, where's the part where people are supposed to laugh?
Oh,
who's supposed to like this?
Yeah,
you just rhymed gas chamber with something.
Oh no!
Like,
oh no,
dude! Like, there's edgy, and then there's you deserve to be put down.
Yeah, and
I'm gonna take you to the Humane Society and let them do their work.
Yeah, like and it's annoying too, because like my stuff is like kind of edgy, I guess, but it's like is it edgy or is it new age edgy? I think
that's a big
misdirection.
Thing
I'm misdirection. Like, I bring up a topic that you're like, oh, he's gonna say something that's gonna offend us, and then I say something, and you're like, oh, Like, you know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
like, I hit a woman once, and I'm like, oh, you know, I told my grandma if she doesn't give me socks, you know, it's like I'm like, you know, it's obviously a joke, so you just
It's the switch up.
it's a switch up, yeah. But people that just go up there and they're just like shocked, you know, like a shock jock, you know what I mean? Like they're Howard
is that
Sterling,
a
and
sign of like just being a newbie at comedy?
I
Because
don't
I,
even
feel
know,
like
dude.
in the beginning, I don't know, I too in the first couple of months, like I almost felt like you had to cross a line to be funny, because
Yeah.
like that's how you were funny in like high school and shit.
Yeah.
But then like I know Los Digits told me when I was doing my first roast battle,
Digi.
he was like
Love
don't be mean, just be funny. And
Yeah.
that changed my whole perception of writing. It's like it doesn't have to cross a line totally. It could be simple, but if it's funny, it's
That's
funny,
why
you
Digits
know?
is so good at it.
I love Digits, man. He's the
Digi,
best.
I love Digi. I think my favorite thing about him is like he really does kind of embody that. Like he wins basically off of his rebuttals, because
Yeah.
he literally plays people on the fact that they try to be mean to him.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can say to that man that will ever upset
Yeah,
him
it's
about
the
himself.
best.
He
It's the
loves
best.
himself so much, and you're like, damn, to have the blind confidence of that man.
Yeah.
Insane behavior.
that is one of my. I mean, that's why I got it. I mean, that's literally the caption on my video where I got attacked. You know, when I got the guy attacked me, is literally I love to bullies. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that's why I got everyone to laugh, because like this guy was being racist, heckling everyone, and I was like, I'm gonna ruin your kind of like that
Yeah.
fucking dickhead at Doug Show that was like an asshole to everyone, and I was like, all right, well, I'm
You're
gonna
ruin your fucking
yeah, I'm
day
gonna ruin
now.
your night. Yeah. I mean, it was like him, Sid, Nikki and Jay, and I was like, yeah, you know, if your judges look familiar, it's like, you know, American Idol guys. We got Simon, fucking Paula, Howie, because
Randy.
dude's bald as shit, and I was like, and we got Randy as Jay, you know, and he was like, oh, that's funny, and I was like, yeah, shut the fuck up, dude. Like,
Dude, he does talk.
yeah,
like
he like
that,
talked over my
though.
whole set. I was like,
He wouldn't shut the fuck up. And,
Yeah.
And I was like, who are you to care for me to care about your fucking opinion? He was like, I'm one of the judges, and I was like, you think I give a fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
he's like, you'll never
I'll
do
meet
my.
you outside.
Yeah, he's like, you'll never do my club. I go, what's your club? And he said it, and I was like, yeah, I want to do that spot.
shit, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I'm gonna go down to
That's
San
crazy
Diego
story.
to do a fucking room that's as big as my
I'm
apartment.
gonna drive 2 hours to get paid $50
Yeah.
and no gas
Yeah,
money.
shut the fuck
and
up.
pay for my drinks.
Dude, I was the hubris on these people is like insane. It's
Listen,
insane.
you know what? Sometimes you open for great people and those people go on. And
Yeah.
you just stay right where you were.
Yeah, I know. That's another thing. Is like his wife is like an actual comedian, and like, it's like you know, I could have been so much meaner,
like, how
but his
embar-
wife was there, and that's
I know, that's why I
Just as a
wasn't
respect to
mean.
her, I was gonna be like, dude, you know that like. Yeah, your wife's a real. Like, how's it feel like to be
how do
married to a
those
real
cocktails
comedian?
feel?
Like, dude. Oh my god. The first time I ever heard him, Frasier was actually like I was having dinner with Joe and Frasier, and he's like, "This guy sucks," and I was like, "Who?" And then I like, well, yeah, and I was like, if Frasier's the sweetest old man in the world,
Frasier
if
says
Frasier
he's
hates
the
you,
nicest
yeah,
dude.
if Frasier hates you, then everybody hates you, dude.
Oh.
Yeah.
These are the jokes.
Oh, dude.
I'll
but-
be like, literally, I guarantee you the day that man dies, fucking, I'll hate that day, but everybody's going to be walking around the improv
Oh,
going,
dude.
Snap
All
on
day.
their
Yeah, I think
fingers.
he's actually gonna be our next guest. So hey, Frasier.
Yeah.
Praise, we're talking about your
Yeah.
death,
Yeah.
but we love you. Please
Yeah.
don't leave us. Oh my God, what a legend.
No, I love like those stories, but again, every time I talk to you, it just makes more sense, and that's why seeing you again at the improv, I was just like, this is I just like I'm like we gotta hang out more. I have a good time every time I'm around
Oh,
you. Yeah,
I always have a great time with you.
cool. I love that.
You're like, thank God.
Yeah,
How
I'm like,
embarrassing
good.
would it have
Yeah,
been if
you're
I
on
was
my
like,
podcast.
I mean,
You're like,
you're fine.
Well, I had Dean on my podcast, and you know, like I said, I like to start with like being like first thing I was like, yeah, I don't even remember how we met. He's like, yeah, I hated you when we met. I met you. I was like, should we stop the podcast right now? I was like,
Hold up. Should
yeah.
we clear the
But
air?
he's like, I realized I was wrong, and you're a really good dude, and I was just being a hater. And I was like, oh, all right, we're good. I was like, we can keep
Dude,
going.
I mean, sometimes it does happen like that.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, good for you to just admit that, like, to just be like, I was wrong, and you're actually like.
See,
sick.
I respect that so much.
100%.
I'd much rather you tell me that you fucking hated my
Yeah.
guts when we met than
And he
that,
said we met at
you
the
know
fucking
what?
hot.
You know what? I feel accomplished.
Thank
I
you.
feel accomplished
Yeah.
then. Oh, I made you have a better opinion of me. I'm a winner.
Yeah.
Same
Oh,
thing I do
yeah.
with crowds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is funny because I am that person where I'm like, I'll kill you with kindness.
Yeah.
Especially
Oh.
if I know you don't like me, I'll be like, what's up, dude?
I'm
like,
so
I'm like,
nice
I
to you.
hey.
Yeah, if
like-
you're like being mean to me,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, how are you? I love those shoes. Those look dope.
Yeah.
And then I'll keep walking in there like
Yeah.
what are you going to say?
Yeah.
What are
Oh
you
my
going to
God.
say? She's such a bitch. She told me my shoes
Well,
look
that
don't
is
have
like
the strength.
because you end up looking
don't have the strength.
because you end up looking stupid too in the fact that like it's like
It's like you don't have to like my comedy.
well, no, it's
you
like,
don't have to
well,
fuck with
because
that.
someone will be like, oh, like you know, like fuck no or whatever. I'll be like, oh, he's one of my best friends. I love him. It just makes you look stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if everyone likes this person and you don't, like
Yeah.
it just makes
You're the asshole.
Yeah, because then you
Yeah.
don't want to bring it up because then you're like, oh, I know everyone likes this person.
If you're the common denominator, you're the fucking problem.
Exactly, and especially in our business, it's so like cliquey sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I've always been this person where like even in high school I'm friends with the nerds.
I floated.
I play with the sports. Like, yeah, I'm friends
an
with,
HR person's dream.
Yeah.
Floater, baby.
I've never heard that. That's great. But no, that's how I feel like I am in comedy. Like I hang out with white comics, black comics, Asian comics. You know what I mean? Like I posted that thing when Luigi shot that like Luigi Mangione or whatever. They were like every group of Asians has like one Italian friend, and it was like him with all the. And I posted it, and I was like me, and I tagged all my Asian friend comics. You know what I mean? And then Mike Kim, who was on our episode
I
about
love
to air.
Mike.
Yeah, we had such a good episode with him, and he literally goes, dude, I thought this literally was a picture from our poker night. I tried to zoom in to see my face. I was like, dude, oh my god, you're such an idiot. But yeah, it's again like you don't have to be that way. You know what I mean?
No.
And like, yeah.
And I think. I don't know. Maybe
You're definitely someone who has you friends with so many different people.
I love
too.
everybody.
Yeah.
It takes a lot for me to dislike you. Like it genuinely
You have to give me a reason.
does. You have to give me a reason, or maybe you've done it. And honestly, it doesn't have to be a reason directed at me. I'm a very loyal bitch. If you're rude to one of my friends,
yeah. No, 100%.
you better count your fucking days.
100%.
I will defend my friends over myself any day.
100%.
Like you can be mean to me until the fucking cows come home, and that was so high of me to say, Jesus. But I'll literally be like, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
No,
I'll be nice as fuck to you. You say one mean thing about my friend.
Yep.
I will ruin your goddamn life.
Yep. Especially
In a
like when,
heartbeat.
I specifically remember. I'll tell you her name when we get off. But this one comic, I remember when I was first coming, like first, brand new out here. I would hang out with Sean a lot, and Sean's.
I left.
Yeah, right. And so this girl, I guarantee you know her, but she was like a bit like he literally was just like we were at some club, and he was like, hey, and she was like, oh, I can't even talk to you right now. And instead of just saying hi,
Okay,
like
mind your
it
business.
takes that quick, like just to, and ever since then, and now this girl's like always asking to be on like our shows and like blah blah blah, and I'm always like, I'll never forget how you acted that time.
Oh my God.
And like I remember that shit. You know what I
Well,
mean?
people don't think about that.
No, they don't even like.
Or it would have been different if she would have reached out to you afterwards and been like, "Hey, I'm really sorry that I acted like that.
Yeah.
This is why."
Yeah.
Because it's like, sure, you don't owe anyone an explanation for your behavior, but you have to be able to accept the consequences of that behavior if you
100%.
don't give one.
And it was so funny too because about 30 minutes later, I'm talking to Sarah Silverman. I never met her. I was just like, she was wearing.
So, were you at Ice House?
No, it was this
Okay.
club that doesn't exist anymore.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
and but
San Diego.
she was wearing cool shoes like you have. But I was just like dope shoes, and she was like, because we were both wearing like Converses or whatever, and she was like, but we ended up talking, and then of course this girl sees me talking to Sarah and comes over and she's like, oh, but I was like, oh, weren't you too busy? Like, weren't you just too busy?
I hate
Like,
that.
yeah, like what the like, yeah, it was just like you're a fucking snake.
There's nothing worse than that. Like when people are absolute clout grabbers.
Yes.
And you see it.
Yes.
And you're just like, ew.
Yeah.
I treat them like dirty little herpes covered sluts.
Yeah.
And like, no offense to people with herpes. They got medication.
No
You're
offense to
probably
sluts.
fine.
So-
No offense to sluts. But a herpes coated slut who's a clout chasing herpes coated slut.
Fuck 'em.
Not fun.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck 'em.
Fuck them.
Like, ew, cooties. All right, I'm going to change it from herpes to leprosy. That's way more fine. We're going to do it that way.
No, but even you're like getting.
I hate it.
I'm racing through my mind now because I'm like,
Because
even
now you clock them. When
Yeah.
you think about it, you're like, that bitch, that bitch,
I'm
that
getting
bitch,
pissed
that bitch,
right
that
now.
bitch.
Yeah.
I'm getting pissed right now, dude.
We're all just gonna go fucking beat the shit out of a trash can
Yeah.
after this. Shoot a CEO.
we're gonna be hammered after this. You look at me, buddy.
Hey, Sarandos, I know where you live.
You've been talking about damn it. No, but even a couple weeks ago, like I loosely know Bill Burr because of like Joe. You
Same.
know? Okay.
I know Bill through my shows with Mark.
Yeah, so I was at Bill's like thing I was backstage for his thing at the Hollywood Bowl and like blah blah blah, right? So he's in the back of the store. I'm doing my own thing. I'm just smoking a joint. He's smoking a cigar, and he comes to just throw his cigar away. And he was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" I was like, "What's up?" And then of course this girl, clout chasing, as different girl
I
though,
feel
but
like
another
I
clout
might
chasing.
know who
she
one of
literally,
these
She
are.
literally was. I guarantee you do. And she literally just immediately was like, "You know Bill?" And then and I'm like, "You've never spoke to me ever. Like you've never talked to me ever. Like."
I had someone try to sleep with me once because I was having a conversation with a bunch of dudes like that.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, do you think that was hot? Like, do you think you coming up and asking if I knew all your favorite comedians and that if we were actually friends,
Yeah.
or if they just wanted to sleep
Was
with
it a
me was
comic?
attractive? No, it was like a random dude.
guy? Okay.
And I was just like, bruh, you need to turn around.
Yeah.
And he was like, what? And I was like, listen, cool, you don't know me yet. I hope one day you're sitting there at home and you see me on TV and go, oh. And then I can be like, no, I was not clearly sleeping with any of the men in that circle. They are just people that I work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that is weird because that's probably like a misconception is like when you do have like friends like that, they're like, oh, you must be like doing something.
All the time.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that's weird. I didn't think about that, but that is probably.
Well,
thing
you have a
that-
penis.
Yeah, hey.
You might have long hair, but
yeah,
you have penis.
yeah. Hey, you heard it first. Confirmed. It's not. Yeah.
Just from behind when it
Yeah,
makes
it's not the
sense.
best,
Yeah.
but it's there. It works. All right. But no, that is like something you guys have, and I think that is why I'm friends with so many female comedians because
Yeah.
like like Heidi, Christy, you. But I mean, I could name 50 million, but it is and it is one of the things that I've been told multiple times by multiple. They're like, I like hanging out with you because I don't have to worry. Like,
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I know you love your girlfriend,
yeah. There we go.
and I don't have to worry about that
Yeah,
shit.
it's just like-
You're not one of those people who's like, I have a girlfriend, but I would also fuck you. Like,
yeah. You got that. You're like, but
Those are the
but
worst people. They're like,
Oh,
you've been
I-
hanging out with Augie too much. You guys fucking? And I'm like, come on.
Nasty.
We used to. but
yeah,
not
yeah.
anymore.
We stopped, guys.
But it's like
We stopped.
being such good friends with like so many female comedians, and especially like I was friends with Heidi. She was like hosting my show forever. She's like one of my best friends, neighbor, blah blah blah, and she's gay, like full blown lesbian, and she's like, and so many times people would be like, "Is that your girl?" And I'm like, "She's gay." Like, she's like,
She literally would throw up if
yeah,
she saw
like,
me naked.
Yeah. And I'm like, trust me, but it happened all the time. You know what I mean? Especially like she's one of the dudes, so she'd be getting me beer, and she's like, your girlfriend. I'm like, she's not my girlfriend, one, two. Like, it's just anyway.
Dude,
but it's
she's
like
gay as fuck.
yeah, but I mean, like, even seeing how much a gay girl has to deal with guys trying to fuck them, it's like,
Oh,
Jesus
yeah.
Christ, like, you guys are, I don't envy you in that.
Well, it just adds another layer of like politics that you have to
There
play
you go.
through.
That's what I'm trying, yeah.
Because, like, because then it's also like there are certain girls, especially the
That's not
clout
right,
chasey types, who are like, they'll essentially be like, well, you're not sleeping with someone, and you're like, no. And
Yeah.
then you can tell that their eyes light up, like, I could sleep with him and then I'll be on his show. And you're like, oh, honey, it's actually going to work out the complete opposite way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think any, like, female comic that I know of, at least, has ever slept with someone and it worked out. Like,
Right.
oh, we're going to work
Yeah,
together.
every time I talk to a girl that's dated a comic girl or whatever, they're always like,
I have a strict rule against it.
yeah.
I
I mean,
don't work
you
with,
don't
I
shit where you
sleep
eat.
or
Yeah.
or date anyone in our business.
Yeah, you don't shit where you eat.
I did
just-
it once.
Yeah.
Never again.
See, that you took the words out of my mouth. I was about to say every girl
And
I
he's
know.
not even a comedian, just works in the
See,
business.
every girl I know that they say they go, I did it once and I'll never do it again.
Yeah.
I've never heard one like, yeah, it worked out great, and we're like, yeah.
I'd
like,
also be scared to be a bad experience or something, and then it just turns into her greatest bit, and I'm just like, oh no, that's about me.
No.
Oh, that's literally, I get that all the time on dates. People will be like, could you like not? I'm like, now I want to use this.
yeah.
You told me not to. I will use this absolutely.
I saw a girl bombing at the Ice House, and she ended up she's going, yeah, well, like I used to date Bobby Lee, and I was just like, oh god, here we go. Like she was like trying to recover, and be like, by the way, I'm important.
Were you like, who has it?
Yeah. I was like, she just tried to like, she knew she was doing bad, and she was like, all right, let me try to be interesting, and it was just like, oh no, like.
Dude, I think the OnlyFans to comedy club pipeline is so crazy
It's
to watch.
insane.
And I have nothing against it. I have a lot of friends who are OnlyFanners. I think that's amazing. But watching people, it's the same thing as how I feel about actors and
Yeah.
actresses, because they're just actors and actresses who get fucked.
Yeah.
So like, I literally watch these people who have no care for the craft of what they're fucking doing.
Yeah.
I've seen so
and,
many.
And they literally are just like, and then so I was getting railed by these four guys.
Oh, dude.
And you're like,
Where's the
cool,
joke?
Where's
It's
the
the
joke?
worst thing to sit
Like,
through.
because now you're also making a mockery of yourself
Yeah.
and what you do.
Yeah.
Like, I have no problem with any of those things, but stand on your fucking business.
Yeah, laugh
and be
with me,
like,
not at me,
I'm
like,
making fun
yeah.
of this dude who was fucking me, actually, not
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being a clown and being a stand-up. you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
exactly.
It's like, but
What's your narrative here?
even just like I'm so interested too, because like obviously you have like such a background in like film and TV and everything too. Like growing up, were you just like a movie buff, or how did you get like into that, or
Oh,
like,
man.
or were you like a theater kid in high school, or what was your whole like? I love hearing the full origin.
All of the above. My favorite movie growing up was literally Harold and Maude.
Really?
Do you know what that movie
Yes,
is?
I do.
Do you know what that movie is?
I don't think I do.
So Harold and Maude is a really fucked up. Like, looking back at it now, I'm like, who let me watch that? And be
Yeah.
like, that's a great idea. So there was this like 17-year-old boy who was like obsessed with fake killing himself and freaking out his parents, which I thought was hilarious when I was younger. And he falls in love with this like senior woman. I don't mean like hot, like Demi Moore, Ashton Kutcher senior. I mean like she's in her
Like an old
80s,
lady, yeah.
who lives in a train car. The whole soundtrack is done by Cat Stevens. It's a very artsy
Whoa.
film. And I told my dad that I liked that film once, and he only got me Cat Stevens like CDs for like the next 10 Christmases. That man has come out with a lot of music. But so I was super into that. I was super into all sorts of like cinema. My whole thing growing up with my grandma was we used to go to movies together. My other nana used to take me to the ballet all the time, so I was always immersed into that. My mom played in a Beatles cover band, so that's how her and my dad met. So
That's
like I was
awesome.
just immersed in like art via my mom's side, and my dad's side loved the film aspect. So like I used to go to bed watching old recordings of the Dean Martin variety show, which I really fell in love with stand
That's
up.
my favorite.
And then my grandfather, when I got older, bought me all of the Tonight Show's old tapes. So then I started watching those and watching comedians that I grew to love on their first like Carson appearance.
I love that.
And shit
So you
like
just have
that.
like a nostalgia
And,
with it too.
yeah, it was like a nostalgia thing. I was like, man, it's really cool. So like when you watch my comedy, it's all political. It all has a point to it, or at least I really try to make it like that. Or it's like my experience as a woman. And so then the other aspect of it is like, how did I get into film? I immediately, when I was a kid, so I used to come out here all the time growing up. Half of my family lives in Orange County.
Okay.
And I just fell in love with like the culture around film and television. So I got really into it, and I started looking into it. And I always really enjoyed film as a way to, as a medium to get your narrative through.
Okay.
Because I thought it was like theater, which I also loved, but it was a way to do theater in a controlled environment, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah. You got more avenue than a stage too.
Yeah.
Show more scenes.
And
Good. Thank you.
cool. It just went out on me, I
We're
think,
good.
too. I got a little bit, but that's perfect. I smoked like 2 joints before I came here. But yeah, I really fell in love with, I think, animation, especially adult animation, was like kind of my first real true love when it came to television. Like I have a lot of tattoos. People at home, they're everywhere. But you know, my skulls here are named Ed, Ed, and Eddie. I've got Beavis and Butthead's shirts tattooed
I wore
on
this
my
for you.
palms. Yeah.
I literally, cause I tried to guess for the guest a little bit, and I was like, looking at my closet.
I know
was
this
like,
bitch will
I was like,
love
she'll
this.
love Nickelodeon. Yeah.
And then I worked on The Simpsons for 4 years, so
awesome.
I have this tattoo commemorating that time, which is Bart and Lisa tripping Mr. Burns and cutting off his head
yeah.
with a knife, and he's yelling out "fuck."
Hell yeah.
And then here, this part is blank. I'm actually debating, if your listeners want to help me decide. I'm debating. I think I might have Tommy coming out of the television,
Really?
like in the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is like Tommy
and
Pickle.
then coming at the Angry Beavers,
That is dope.
sitting on the couch. I
Can
think
you
that'd
draw?
be
Are
really
you a
funny.
drawer at all? Or?
Oh fuck no! I'm
Yeah.
an amazing tattoo artist. I can't draw.
Okay,
for
yeah, me
shit.
neither.
My
I-
mom is like a pottery teacher, and I
Okay.
can't do any of it.
Yeah, like my tattoos, I always have to like draw like stick figure versions and like be able to show my
I
guy.
just describe it, and
Yeah,
I go.
I
and
can't-
Sean's like, "Cool, got
Yeah,
it."
I can't draw for shit.
Yeah, I can't at all.
Okay.
But yeah, I got super into television, and I just always loved it. It was just like real escapism for me. I was
Yeah.
hella bullied when I was younger. Grew up really poor, and television was like the one thing that was like,
Your
oh, I
escape?
have this.
Yeah.
And it's not that expensive, and it was a special thing that I did with my grandma.
Yep.
We would like go out to the movies, we'd go to Friendlies, we'd get a little sundae after.
Oh, it's amazing.
And that shit was awesome.
That's the best.
No, I feel that so deep because that was my parents were divorced. My dad would pick me up every Friday, you know, and weekends were with my dad, weekdays with my mom, and every Friday when he picked me up, we'd go see a movie. So
Yeah.
it was like a turn. We go to the drive-in, we go see a movie, we go like, you know what I mean. So it just
Drive-ins, dude.
Yeah.
Weren't drive-ins the shit?
This shit. I
best.
saw American Pie when American Pie 2 came out. I saw American Pie 1 and 2 at a drive-in, and my
Shout out Jennifer Coolidge.
yeah, hell yeah, I love it. And it was just like my dad was like, you can't tell your mom we want to go see it. And you know, I'm young. I'm like,
Yeah, you're a child.
I'm a child, and I'm seeing this guy fuck a pie. I'm like, I don't even know what jerking off is. Like, I have no idea what's
You're
going
like,
on.
I'm learning so much
Yeah,
right now. So
yeah.
we fuck pies, we don't eat them.
Because my brother's like what, like 4 or 5 years older than me.
Eugene Levy.
Yeah, my dad would just be like, yeah, you guys are the same age, and I'm like, I'm not. Like, he's 10, I'm 5. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
there's a 12-year age gap between me and my eldest
Really?
siblings. Yeah. And
how many siblings do you have?
I'm the youngest of 4.
Youngest of 4.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was a botched vasectomy baby.
Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, and a geriatric
Surprise.
pregnancy.
No way.
Somebody really wanted me here.
Yeah.
Oh
well,
my
hey,
God.
I'm glad you're here.
You were
Well,
a
hi,
gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Drink to
that's
that.
Yeah,
awesome.
somebody really wanted
Yeah,
me here.
geez.
And I was born at 11:11 on a Tuesday, which is super rare,
That's
even
crazy.
to like be in the morning too.
That's wild. That's yeah, you're here for a reason for sure.
Oh yeah, but yeah, dude, I fell in love with television, and movies were especially my thing. So when I first moved out here, I had an internship lined up, and I won't say the company name because I don't want to get in trouble. But I got fired so a Nepo baby could have my job.
No.
Yeah, and I just remember being so distraught because I was like living on my cousin's couch, like still trying to find a place. And I was like, no, I don't have an employment record to show anybody that moved in. So I moved in with these random ass roommates, you know how you do. And they were cool for a few months, and then I moved into the place that I have now, and I've literally been there since.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and I had roommates with it for a while, and now I live alone in it. It's a nice apartment. I love it. But yeah, I mean, I started out working in reality television.
Really?
Yeah, it's the best way to get your foot in the door since I got fired from my scripted job like 2 weeks in. And I would just remember being like, I haven't even been here long enough to fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, I was so mad.
Yeah.
But, you know, and then you can't tell your parents because they're going to be like, come home.
I love hearing this because it's like, I mean, I'm like literally like, even when I worked for the Raiders, they were like, do not move out here for this job. It's not enough money.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I'm coming.
Yeah.
And then by the end of training camp, they offered me a full-time
Well,
like,
I've been begging
job.
my parents to let me move here since I first came when I was 7.
You know what's funny? I didn't want to cut you off when you were talking about this. You know, I have so many
Yeah.
things in my brain when you're talking, but
ADHD.
yeah, well, it's like I love this, I
great.
love that, but like same thing. So my aunt lives in Thousand Oaks,
Okay,
so I
cool.
grew up coming to visit all the time, and
Yeah.
I was like, I fucking love it out here.
It's so dope.
Yeah. And so I remember when I moved to the Bay Area, I was like, this is going to, I'd never been there before. I get the job with the Raiders, never been there. And I was like, it's going to be like SoCal. And it's like cold and rainy and gray.
Oh,
And
the fog.
Yeah. I was like, what the fuck did I move?
Do you
I
ever
was like,
want to feel like you're going to get murdered?
Yeah.
Step outside in San Francisco during the fog.
yeah, I was like,
You
yeah.
feel like you're in the
it's like
midst
Old Town
of that one
Lundy.
movie.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh,
Jack
yeah.
the Ripper's going to pop out. It's like, no, I swear to God, yeah. So I have that same feeling where I don't know why, like my brothers weren't that way, but when we come visit, I always be like, I want to live
I
out
used
here.
to cry every time I left.
Really?
I used to sob.
That's crazy.
I used to get on the plane crying. Like, and they, you know, they had that one lady who would like walk you to the gates.
Yeah.
And she would just be like, it's fine. I was like, shut up.
Yeah.
You don't know me, Susan. Like, get
You
out
don't know
of
my
here.
problems.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just like I felt this like severe connection. I still do to this city. I love it very, very much.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel the same way about New York in a lot of respects. I feel like there's just a certain vibe that
Yeah.
kind of surrounds the two cities.
Yeah.
I think New York has an edge that I truly appreciate.
Yeah.
And it's people who you can always fucking depend on.
You also have that New Yorky vibe to you. Like,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah, you definitely do. Like just from being out there for 2.5 weeks, I'm like, I could have seen.
Anytime
you,
I'm
yeah.
there, people are like, "You're from here, right?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "That is so hot." They say to me, that was actually the sexiest
Yeah.
pickup line you could have said to this woman.
You're like, "I know some
in your
coffee
life." But yeah, no, I mean, I just truly fell in love with it. And when I first moved out here and I was working in reality television, I worked as a casting PA for a medical mystery show.
Ooh.
It was the worst job I think I've ever had because I had to source through all these case files, which were just hypochondriacs writing in, like, I have this crazy rash, and
Oh,
I think
God.
it's this crazy disease, and I've done all this research, and my doctor just keeps telling me it's sciatica.
You're just going through the notes of an
Yeah, and
insane
you're
You had to
just
read
like-
all of it.
And you're just sitting there,
Holy
and you
shit.
have to interview the ones that your producer thinks are cool. Like, you'll pull things, and you're like, well, maybe it'd be funny if we out this person for being crazy. 'Cause
Yeah.
You're like, if I get noticed, then they'll like pull me up, and I'll do better work or whatever.
Yeah.
And you know, pull some Jerry Springer shit. And yeah, I hated that job. I once this woman. Oh, I will never forget this. It was the worst day of my life. So, you know, when you're working as a PA, you aren't making enough money to really live. So I was working at Center Stage downtown from 8 to 6 every day, and then managing a bar every night until 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, God.
And so then I'd go home, crash, and then go to work, sleep on my lunch break, do the rinse repeat.
Oh,
and then I'm
man.
also working in comedy in between, and I'm just like trying to make it work, right? And I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna figure this out. I literally look back on that time period in my life. I'm like, I have no idea how I did that.
Like that's the thing though. Is like to do what we do, you have to be willing to be like
you have
super
to be willing to be like, I missed 3 years of my life because I just don't remember it because I was so tired.
100%. And like it's crazy like to like go from like being like, all right, I could easily not have to struggle like this and like do something
I could do a data analyst job and be fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
and be fine.
Yeah.
That's
Sure.
But I don't want that.
and I don't know if you're like me where it's like, well, you just said it, where I think about back then, I'm like, what the fuck was I doing? Like,
All
how
the
did I
time.
do that?
I
Like,
literally, so I used to like for food, I would go to Porto's because when I first moved here, the cheese and spicy potato balls were like. This is so poor. This is so ghetto
I love
behavior.
it.
The
It's
cheese
so Ohio.
The cheese and spicy potato balls were like 82 cents, and they were really filling. So I would get that and an apple, and I'd have that every day for lunch, and then I would have rice and like vegetables from a can every day for dinner. And I was literally only costing like $4 a day to feed myself essentially. So I was like, I'm doing great. And I was like, and I look back at that time period, I'm like, I remember when I used to think peanut butter and jelly was a splurge.
Oh my God.
And now I'm like, I bought new shoes yesterday because I was sad.
Yeah. I know it's I love hearing that because like I obviously like I don't know all that about you, so that's why I love having people on this podcast. Is it's like I get to learn so much more about you and like respect.
Did you have a weirred poor meal when you first moved here,
dude? So when I worked for the Raiders, like I said, they were like, "Do not move out here for this job. Like you will
it's
not make,
worth
you don't
it.
make
You're
enough
not
money."
Gonna make enough money.
So like I found my roommates on Craigslist, both from China, right? I'm the only white person in the
Bay?
This is in the Bay. I'm living. It was just the closest place I could find to work, right? And they were like,
were you by a good BART station at least?
No.
Oh shit.
I'm on an island. Their office is in Alameda, which is a literal island.
Literal island.
So I can't get off this fucking.
I didn't know their offices were there. That's hard.
I was going nuts. Okay, I'm going nuts. I had no car, no nothing. I would literally and like I might have to dress nice for work, so I had to go to the dry cleaners, right, and drop my shit off every once in a while. I had no car. I would get my groceries, put them on the handlebars of my bike. I bought this fucking shitty old bike off this guy. Literally, would have my dry cleaning over this with 2 bags of groceries, ride my bike like that, like fucking insane.
Okay, so you didn't get just one of those carts and then just like get some steel bars and connect it to the end, like you had a little cart behind it.
And Demi, they tell me because it's training camp, right? Which is it's 2 hours away. I don't have a car. Okay. And so they hit me up and they go, all right, like send us your availability, what days you can work. I'm like, I'm broke. I'll work every day. So they sent me. I didn't think they were actually going to put me on every day. So they put me on every single fucking day. Everyone else who's working there every day is staying at the hotel at the training camp, right? So I call them. I call HR. I'm like, hey, I don't have a car. Like I can't get there. And they're like, well, the best we can do is send you the numbers of everyone that you like went worked with and.
Why couldn't they just get your own hotel room?
Right. Like
what cheap bastards?
100%. Fuck them. And
also,
so,
it's a tax write-off. You're not even paying for
100%. So
also, you probably have a deal with the hotel. Sorry. Oh,
no,
God, the accountant brain in me is like,
you're so right.
As somebody who owns their own production company, I'm like, oh, I would kill you.
Literally. And so I call everyone. Of course, they're like, no. Like, I don't know you. I'm not picking you up at 5 a.m. to drive you to the thing.
Absolutely the fuck not, murderer.
So this one girl that I ended up, it was a group interview when we interviewed, and me and her both got hired. So I hit her up, and I'm like, hey, will you, like, drive me?
Can I roll with you?
Yeah, can I roll with you? And she's like, yeah, all right. So she shows up, and Demi, I am being as honest as I could be, the biggest piece of shit on 4 wheels I've ever seen. My family works in automotive supplies. I mean, this
You're
thing.
Like, honestly, I feel better that I don't have
It didn't have a license plate on it. No license plate. It was like one of those white, like 19.
Hey, Raiders, you should pay your people better.
Yeah. There's a reason I'm not there anymore. And there's a reason they don't win shit. You're a Kansas City fan, you know. But anyway, so I'm fucking. This girl shows up in the biggest piece of shit on 4 wheels I've ever seen in my life, and it's like 5 a.m. She gets out, and she goes, "I'm tired. Can you drive?" So I get behind the wheel. She falls asleep in 2 seconds. I've never driven California in my life. You would turn the wheel this much and the wheels wouldn't move. Like the wheel was that loose, you know?
No.
Dude, I'm freaking out.
I would have just pulled over, borrowed somebody's tools, and been like, I can fix that at least in 2 seconds.
I'm freaking out. So she falls asleep. I've never driven California. I get to a toll, all right? This is like, 2016 or whatever, 15. So they didn't even take credit cards at the toll. It was like cash, change. So I wake her up. I'm like, hey, do you have any money? Again, I'm broke. I had no money. I'm like, do you have any money? And she's like, no. And I go, well, there's no license plate on it. Just fucking floored it through the fucking, just drove through the toll. Just drove through the fucking toll. And I remember that day at work, I was like, I don't care how good I am at my job today. All I'm going to do is make friends with somebody that will fucking drive me.
Yeah,
and I did.
I will just
shout out Nana and Jackson, my 2 boys. They ended up being like one of them would pick me up like every day and drive me back. But it was like, dude, I was like, this isn't. And even on the way home, I just drove through the fucking toll again and no license plate. I was like,
wow.
But again, you talk about just like I would. And I think back, I'm like, dude, I would never do like all the shit.
Dude, the shit that I did to hustle when I first moved out here, I look back and I'm like, damn, bitch, you were nasty.
That's what makes you a good comic, though, is being able to hustle. Like
Yeah.
That's like half of the game. Like I've seen so many people who are funny. I can name and I'm like, I love this guy. I'm like, where are you? Like, why aren't you out? Like,
they don't know how to work.
Yeah, they don't know how to do that part of it.
Like,
or don't want it. It comes naturally to a hustler.
It's okay to take breaks. It's okay to like lean back. Like, I sometimes like I've had to take breaks because my work schedule has gotten out of hand. But like I work a full-time job producing in the industry. So it's like
so work is it's not like you're doing nothing.
So
it's like this, like we're doing
and
something.
It's also like I'm doing one to help inform the other. So it's like each hand feeds the other type
Right.
of a vibe.
Exactly.
Right.
So when I first moved out here and I decided I wanted to do stand up, I remember my mom talking to me like, well, you know, you can't give up what you've been working towards. And I said, you think I'm going to give that shit up, bitch? You're silly.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know, I know that what I do directly informs what the other hand is doing. So it really helped me actually, because now I understand the business side so much more than a lot of people that we know.
Yep.
And, you know, it's been extremely beneficial. Because I worked, after that reality series, I worked on Star Trek Picard. I worked on American Auto's freshman season, because I worked on seasons 2 and 3 of Star Trek Picard, and then I went to American Auto, and then I left and I worked at Gracie Films.
Okay.
And, you know, I have people who ask me all the time, like, oh, how did you get any of those jobs? How did you do that? I'm like, people. You gotta like people. People
Yep.
gotta like you. And, you know, a big draw of, like, certain jobs picking me was like, oh, you're really funny and charismatic. And what I did at Star Trek, and I think this is really, if I can toot my own horn for a second, I think it's really good advice for anyone who's starting out in the industry.
You know what I always say? Sometimes you don't toot your own horn, you don't hear any music. So toot it, baby. I want to
Toot
hear
it,
it.
baby. So, you know, I think what I did best, especially on Star Trek, was I found the grumpiest person on set every day, and I made it my job to make them laugh.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so every day, the person that everyone was most afraid of, I would be chummy with, because I'd go up to them and compliment them and like shoot the shit with them and not be afraid of them.
Yeah.
And it actually really helped my stand-up too, because if you can do that to a world-famous cinematographer or a huge producer, you can do that to Joe Schmo from fucking Pasadena.
Exactly. It's important to know the business side of it, and because I even when I was in New York, there was a girl comic that I had met that did the show, and she was like, "Where do you usually do stand up?" And I was like, "I told her the places," and she was like, "Oh, you do like the clubs? I'm more of like an alt comic," and I was like,
What does that
"So you don't
mean?
get paid?"
Yeah, I was gonna say. So like,
Yeah,
what you do art installations?
Yeah. So like, it was like a funny thing when I was like,
You're telling a penis joke upside down?
yeah,
Like, what does that mean?
Yeah, it was just like, yeah, I want to make this my job. Yeah, like that's you know.
I hate it when people say shit like that.
Yeah,
because,
but
you
I've
know,
seen people who just want to be the kings of an open mic. You know, like they just like they don't like. They're like, I don't like.
Shout out Ian Ira Russo, you fucking
God.
assaulting prick.
my
Yeah.
God.
But no,
Yeah.
seriously, it's like they just want like, and it's like
I've never wanted to beat the shit out of someone upon
Yeah.
meeting them so hard in my life.
I've had comics tell me they're like, I don't want to go to the store. The door guys are mean. I'm like, what? I'm like, what does that mean?
Who?
Like,
Who's mean there?
Yeah.
I've never met a scene.
Yeah,
you know what?
I'm
You know what
literally
it sounds
I'm
like to
literally
me? Sounds like you fucking suck.
100%.
Yeah.
But people expect someone to like kiss their ass or like, you know what I mean? It's like they don't even have to be like, hey, I'm a comic. And it's like, dude, you introduce yourself to people. Like they're all nice. Like they're cool with me. Like you.
I walk
but
in that
people
place.
don't-
Vinny's usually like, "You want to do a shot?
Yeah,
let's
immediate.
do some things."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Alex Young is one of my like best friends. Like I love Alex. Like it's like again, it's just so funny when people are, but they don't want to. They rather they're cool in their corner of the world and they think like, But
Sometimes the middle's enough for people.
the middle. There you go. That's a good way to say it. Sometimes, but even what you were saying too, like of just the networking and talking to people and whatever. It's like I moved because I was living in the Bay, right? And I did a movie up there. I got cast as one of the leads, and then I ended up by the end of it, I ended up getting writing, acting, and producing credit on it. And then someone on that movie was like, "Dude, you're awesome. You want to be on act and help me produce my movie?"
Which is great because you do all this without acting classes.
There you go. Yeah.
People think that scheme is useful.
Right. And
It's fun if you need to work out, but
it was. I mean, it was such a crazy jump because I went from being in like very small parts to being in 60+ scenes of this movie, and it was like,
oh, that memorization was fun.
exactly. it was crazy highlighting.
I used to hide my scripts places.
I would watch.
I'm notorious for that. Yeah.
Damn it, I'll show you. You could half the guy who is me before a scene just go because I would highlight it like this is a long, very important monologue. This is the thing. So I had to it was crazy tough, but I'm super proud of it, obviously. And then, but someone on that movie was like, "Hey, I'm filming a movie in Southern California," and this was I produced two feature films during the pandemic too. So like all that bullshit. I mean, and then that guy, I came down here and it was more open than there, and I was like, I'm moving, I'm down.
I mean, the whole business is really, who do you know, who likes you, who can put your name in a room that you've never even seen yet. And when I got my job at Gracie, it was because a friend of mine put my name in that ring.
Yeah.
And I think the best people in our business are the people who are putting their hand back to pull others forward.
Yeah.
And I never ever want to be accused of someone who gatekeeps or anything like that. I don't think that's healthy. I don't think it's good for the business. I think it's great to have new perspectives come in, but I will only allow your perspective in the room if it's informed and if you've worked at it.
No,
I'm not going to let somebody who doesn't know shit come in and tell a bunch of people who do know shit what they should know.
And also, I always say too, like, and I'm sure you, doing everything you do, agree with this. Is like, there's a bunch of people, like, at the end of the day, who can do what we do, but it's the people you want to do it with, and that's like again, having you on this podcast, I was like, who's gonna be fun to hang out with on because I knew it was gonna be the day after my, the whole thing. When I was hitting you up this week, I was just like. Again, every time I'm around you, so I'm just thinking about like who do I like hanging out with, who do I want to have on. It's like
well, you hit me up, I was like, fuck yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah,
That
right.
sounds like
I think you said happy birthday to me, which thank you. And then I was like, when I get back to town, let's do the fucking podcast. And you're like, absolutely. I was like, boom, now here we are. It's like,
because I'd seen that you were in New York, and I do stand up in New York a lot, so I was like, I know some people. Sorry, they're fucking assholes. Fuck you, Joey. But I mean,
but no, just you reaching out like that, you know what I mean? Just like again, I'm the same way where it's
kindness.
Like 100%. Like
you should be like that for people.
100%. Like my boy, like if you ever do shows up in the Bay, like I hook up people up with people up there to do extra shows when they're up there. Like my boy Big T will put you up. Like
Tyson?
No, it just.
I heard Big T, so I was like, "Oh, is it Tyson?"
Yeah, no.
Tyson.
But he'll like, my boy Jones, he went up and he's like, dude, he put me on like 3 shows at Ross. I was like, yeah, like why would you not want to, like, I hate the, like you said, gatekeeping, like bullshit. It's like,
well, I mean, why would you not want to help people that you care about?
Exactly. Or like, and
I think that's weird behavior.
And they don't understand it comes back. Like it comes back to like, if you help them, they want to help you.
All leads back to karma.
100%. Like now, like I said, when I started out here, like I didn't. Now you just saying like I love LA, and that's another reason I think we all like are not from here, but we're doing well here is because like we don't. Other people are like, oh, I hate living here and blah 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 blah. And it's like, dude, then leave. Like I don't like I have.
Get out.
I have such a good time here, and I have opportunity. Like every time I go somewhere else, I'm like, I'm glad I live here. You know what I mean? Like all the opportunities that we have. Like even like last night, I made it a fundraiser because I was like, it was gonna be my birthday show. We ended up raising like over $1,000. And
thank you, LA Fire Department, by the way.
Thank you, by the way. I love
and
firemen.
all the fire departments from all over the world that have come in to help us.
As someone who has been in a lot of sticky situations in my life, firemen always are the first responders, and they're always the best to deal with, and
always hella chill.
Always the best. Yeah, you guys are the best. I literally always. My girlfriend makes fun of me because every time we pass a fire truck, I always like give them a honk or a wave or like what something. Because again, I've been in so many situations where like they literally are the first people to show up. At so many situations.
Well, and not only that, like. They don't do it because they have to hit a
selfless.
quota.
Yeah, they're selfless. And
it's not like cops that are like, I need to hit this traffic.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you.
So we're going to donate to
100%.
we're donating to the fire department, we're donating to the animals that were displaced, and we're donating to like the homes that were lost. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, so we got like over 1,000 for that last night. But that was a big thing. I was like, you know what? I actually do fucking love, being here, and it's and I think again, like I think it shows that us 3 doing well here is a product of us not being like, it's not like a lot of people are like, fuck here, and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah,
like,
well, I mean, I think also like there's just I thought about moving to New York, and then when all the fires and stuff happened, it made me want to stay so much more.
Really?
And there are so many people in my life who don't live here who are like, well, don't you want to leave more now because of the fires? I'm like, actually, it made me want to stay.
It made me appreciate it more.
Because I love this community. I went and volunteered as soon as I could.
It highlighted the people that cared about you and that you cared for, too.
Yeah, like I had so many text messages. Like I think I might have complained to you about this at one point, and I'm not complaining. I love that people love me, but like at one point I had like 292 text messages, and I was like, I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm autistic. I can't do this. Like there's a lot of bitches trying to get a hold of me right now. And like people are like, well, they're group chats. I'm like, no. I love people. People tend to love me, and I love that because I put a lot of work into my relationships. I think all relationships can be great if you work at them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think the fires actually made me want to stay here more. What about you? Did they make you want to stay more?
Yeah, it was. I think so. It made me realize the reasons why I'm here and what's important. And again, like with the people that are important, it made me realize like this circle of people that I have that are close to me. These are like our closest supporters and stuff. And these are like who I'm always going to have my
I know we were talking a lot because I wasn't here. And so he was like kind of keeping me up.
I'd be like, oh,
you literally
good?
got to skip like all of
drunk.
it.
Yeah, I was like,
I'm in New York right now.
And I got worried when that fire happened, like right there, like the Hollywood Hills one that was right there, because we were like
the
one coming
Sunset
from here.
Fire?
Yeah, and then and I was like, oh, like this place is probably fine until then. Like my girlfriend had the whole place packed up just in case. She was like, what do you want me to get? I was like, the dog. I was like, the dog and
honestly,
the picture of my dad. I was like, that's it.
Yeah,
and but I got worried when that started, and I just was about to go on stage, and I wasn't planning on talking about it at all. And then the guy was like, "Oh, this guy's in town from LA," and I just like got up and I was like, "Yeah, my place might be on." I was like so discombobulated. Like the first.
Like, they're like, so cool. You guys are all like thinking maybe I'll text my girlfriend. Like, I'm checking watch duty right now.
Yeah, literally. I was like on the app, just like freaking out, and I was like, I don't know. And it was funny because like audience member came out to me after. He's like, "Oh, dude, you were my like favorite content." He's like, "You started off a little interesting." I was like, "Yeah, I don't know what I was saying."
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. You know why? I was having outer body experience. Yeah.
I just like blurted because I was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna talk about it." He's like, "Is it in town from LA?" I'm like, "Yeah, my place in LA might be on fire."
He's in town from LA. You want to hear about my trauma? Like,
yeah. I just like, and then I was like,
hit a
and then,
woman
like,
once.
yeah, I was like, yeah, and I was like, wait.
He's not Matt, right?
Yeah.
Stop.
I like
Yeah.
snapped and I was like, all right, let me get him your jokes. I was like, what's happening right now? I was like so thrown off in the first couple of minutes.
Dude, yeah. I mean, how did you feel about the New York scene? I love the New York scene. I always have a really good time
So
there.
it's so funny. So the last so I said this is my 4th time doing stand-up out there, and the last 3 times were really fun. The second to last time I went, we did the West Side Comedy Club, like me, Sean, Christy, Heidi. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And but all those times, okay, this has nothing to do with the comedy scene, but all those times we went in like the spring or the summer, and I just went back in the winter, and I was like, oh my God, I can't do it. I just had flashbacks of walking to school growing up. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And being
and you're like freezing.
we
to
didn't have
death.
we didn't have buses growing up, so we literally walked to school freeze. Like I'm like one of the last generation who be like, hey, no, I walked to school in this fucking snow.
When I was
fucking
your
miles.
age, I had to
Yeah.
walk 3 miles.
Yeah, like I'm like I'm gonna
shoes that had holes in
yeah,
it. Yeah.
and like so I just had like literally I did 2 spots in one night, which is nice. So I did, and then we're like right down the street from each
I
other.
love doing a bop, bop, bop.
It was great. So
That's what
I
call it.
walked across the thing. My hair was 2 frozen blocks by it. Like they were just. It was frozen solid on both
Did
sides
you
of
have
my
your
head.
curl gel in
Yeah,
it?
it was just frozen solid. I had to go to the bathroom and put like hot water in it to get it unfreeze. And I was like,
You're
dude.
like, these people are gonna think I'm so weird.
But
yeah.
outside of the weather, it's great for comedy.
I love New York. I've been going back and forth. I'm moving there for like a few years now.
there.
I know, it's so funny because I'll
I want you
mention
to
it to
say it,
somebody,
yeah.
and someone that, like it was Jay actually. Jay was like, "Demi, do you realize that your going away party would kill people?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "What?"
Yeah,
He was
stay
like,
for that reason.
He was like, "Your birthday party every year is like insane." He was like, "You would gift bags with drugs in them this year." I was like, "I did. It was pretty tight." He was like, "Yeah, you can't leave.
Yeah, don't
You're not
leave."
gonna find new weed and shroom sponsors in New York that fast." I was like, "I already did."
Yeah.
He was like, "No, you can't leave." Because
No.
I love throwing a good party. Throwing
Yeah.
a party is like my favorite.
I'm coming to the next one. I'll be there.
Dude, you have to. My birthday party this past year was fucking real weird. It's real weird.
You have it at your apartment?
No. So I usually rent out a bar or I have it at Residuals, which
Okay.
is a really great bar that I love. But this year it was
Oh,
my
I
third.
know that place. It's
Yeah,
a good spot,
yeah, it's my favorite. I go there every Sunday for karaoke.
Oh,
It's a
fuck
tight
yeah. I
spot.
didn't know
I
they
usually
did
go there after
karaoke.
late for work.
Okay.
But
yeah.
highly recommend.
I might see you there then.
You come.
Fuck
It'll
yeah.
be fun.
We're
I'll
down
be
to hit
there.
Foxfire soon.
I'll be drunk, and then we'll hit Foxfire,
Yeah.
and then we'll get some house pizza. It'll
Yeah.
be tight. Okay, but yeah. So this year I have my 30th. I know I look amazing. Viewers, thank you. I know I don't look that age.
Yeah, black don't crack, right?
Your girlfriend's gonna be like,
Yeah,
what? I usually like rent out a bar. I have it at Residuals. There's always karaoke. This year I had a photo booth, and the bottom of the strip had like the Hollywood Hill. It says Demi is over the Hollywood Hill.
Yeah.
And it had Moose with a Patch Adams
my
nose
God.
on next to
Nice.
it, going. And because my theme every year is I pick an actor or actress.
Oh, hell
and
yeah.
you have to come dressed as a reference or any character
That's
from
sick.
any of their projects.
I like that.
Because
I love
not
that.
everybody wants to be like that
Yeah,
person.
like Jim
and I get
Carrey,
that.
and then everyone's a Jim
yeah,
Carrey
like when I
then,
did
yeah.
Adam Sandler, like
There,
people,
that's cool.
people came as like specific paparazzi photos.
Yeah.
Which I thought was hilarious. Like they printed it out and put it around their neck, and then came as that paparazzi
great.
photo.
That's sick.
I had a friend who came as the Jeopardy answer from Billy Madison, which was fucking hilarious. And then this year I did Robin Williams.
Love
so
it.
people came as like Patch Adams. I had some people come up in inflatable suits as green
Miss
flubbers.
Doubtfire or
As
something.
Flubber.
Oh, Flubber.
Yeah,
That's
they came
great.
as Flubber, and that was sick. I went as Mork from Mork and Mindy, the classic.
Yeah, the OG.
I had karaoke. I hosted the bar for like the first few hours, so it was open bar. I was the only person super sober at my birthday party.
Wow.
But I hand stickered like 120 gift bags that all had a joint, 2 edibles, and shroom capsules.
Damn, you
in
have a
them.
hell of a birthday
Oh my
party.
And I
God.
literally was like, I'm ready to get everybody pretty fucked up right
Oh
now.
my God.
And it was a great time.
This was your
super
30th,
weird.
you said?
Yeah, it was my 30th.
Dope.
It was super funny. My aunt showed up and was like, I feel like this is weird for me to be here. I was like, no, it's great. I asked the door guy the other night because I was like curious because it was only my people in the bar. He was like, yeah, there was like 300 people here.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, I did not invite that many people. At one point, I looked at these girls who were like looking at the gift bags. I was like, do I know you? Because I was like, like my sponsors had like gifted all the materials essentially
That's
for
dope.
like the gift bags. I
Yeah.
didn't pay for any of them. And I was just like, you're not taking my shit. I don't know you.
Yeah.
Like I was like just drunk enough that I was like, who the fuck do you know here?
Yeah.
And they were like, oh, I know the birthday girl. I was like, I am the birthday girl. Like, you don't
Like
know
wedding crash,
anyone.
like a wedding crasher.
You just heard a name.
Yeah.
Outside. Oh, I've crashed weddings.
Yeah, we're Aunt Ned's kids.
That shit's fun. We're Aunt Ned's kids. Yeah. No, but yeah, I love throwing parties. It's my favorite thing. So I feel like my going away party would have to be like
100%.
Project X style.
I always say this is kind of more morbid, but I always like my
Your funeral?
I haven't had my all right, my dad died at 48, my grandpa died at 49, my uncle died at 48. So if I have a 50th birthday party, I've been inviting people to it for like 20 years at this point, because my 21st was crazy. There's a video of me at midnight, double, like two fisting 2 bottles of champagne, spraying it everywhere, and that was fun. But if 50, you guys will. Yeah,
dude, I think there's nothing better than a good birthday party. I think as like we get older, it's kind of annoying because people are like, oh, why are you celebrating that so hard?
Yeah.
But for me, the reason I do a costume party every year is because I think it's really fun to make my kids, like my friends, bring out their inner
my
kids.
kids.
They are kind of my kids,
children.
though.
Yeah,
they are kind of my kids.
I know
I call my friends
that
my
slipped
kids.
out. You were like,
I do. I call my friends my kids all the time. I'm like, kids, well, because I have all their locations on my phone for the most part. Because anytime I get off, because I travel a lot.
So you're the mom of the group.
Oh. But I'm the drunk aunt.
Oh, okay. The drunk
Let's
aunt.
be
Yeah,
honest
okay.
here.
I like
Let's know who we are.
I'm the drunk
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm the fun aunt that's like, I got a lot of weed at my house. If you
I
wanna
see
come
it.
by.
It makes sense. Yes, 100%.
But I will get off the plane and I always post. You've probably seen this. I post on my Instagram, so I'm like just checking where all my Sims are, and it's always just me looking at Find My, and I'm like going through people's location, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, because
what are you doing
the
there?
last time I got home from Europe, I came straight off the plane and performed at Riff Raff.
oh yeah.
Yeah, I literally, my shit was like in the car. Like me and Alex got to the Comedy Store and
Oh, you literally went straight to the.
yeah,
Okay.
I literally got off the plane from France and I'd had a huge panic attack in the Air France lounge.
Oh,
I was
no.
like sitting in the lounge and I had missed my first flight and so I was just like stressed. I was like, fuck, I gotta get to the Comedy Store. Billy's gonna be so mad at me.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it's cool. Billy won't really care. I'll just go up late. And then I was having a really bad panic attack. And the best thing about airport lounges is that you can shower. So my stoner ass, I like hit my weed vape a few times, like I'm gonna get this anxiety to go away.
Yes.
I just went into this shower, took off all my clothes, put 2 towels down, sat on the floor in a cold shower to get my panic attack to stop. I'm just sitting there, fetal position, like I'm like the title screen from Gothica, fucking under this like rainfall shower in this airport
At the airport.
lounge. And I'm just like,
Were you in Paris? What airport?
I was in Paris.
Yeah.
I was at Charles de Gaulle, and
Okay.
I'm just sitting there, and I'm just like, cool. I get out, and I'm like, I just want a ginger ale. I'm gonna throw up from being anxious,
Yeah.
and because like I'm not a really anxious traveler, but I get panic attacks because America's cool. So this guy who's working the lounge is like, what are you looking for? Because I'm fucking going through the whole fridge, like, where is it? There has to be ginger ale here. like a fucking monster. I look like Where the Wild Things Are. Like, "Rah, where is
Canada
it?"
Dry.
And he's like, are you okay? And I'm just looking for a ginger ale. Like, my stomach is upset. I just want ginger ale. He goes, I have Perrier. And I was like, that is not ginger ale.
Yeah.
But it's like ginger is the part of the ginger ale that helps your stomach. And he was like, how about you sit, ma'am, and I'll bring you something. He brings me a Perrier with like fucking 4 lemon slices. The way it took every calm European-centered bone in my body to not do like a full-blown American reaction of flipping that fucking table and being like, this is not what I fucking
Yeah, your whole
needed
country on
right
your
now.
shoulders and all.
I almost hit full-blown Karen with the soccer mom haircut. Like, I wanted to kill this man. But yeah, I get off the plane and I'm just like, I have to get to the Riff Raff show. And I'm like,
Did you straight from Paris to LAX?
Straight, yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah, a direct
How long was that?
flight.
18 hours at least?
It's 12.
12?
It's 12 hours. And so I slept a decent amount. And I get there. I go to the like refresh lounge. So they have those, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
if you fly a certain class, which makes me sad. I'm not rich. I got a lot of
Yeah,
points.
for you poor people,
I got a lot of points, okay? And blame traveling all the time for this. So I literally get there, I freshen up in like the like fucking lounge. Niles Abston sees me in the store. He was like, Demi, I came because you said you were coming. Didn't you just get off a plane like an hour ago? And I was like, yeah. He was like, you look so good. And I was like, thank you. I really needed to hear that. I'm so tired.
That's amazing.
I was like deliriously
That's so
tired.
nice.
Vinny was trying to get me to do shots with him downstairs at the patio bar, and I was like, Vinny, I will die. I will die right now. Don't do that to me.
I took this little puddle jumper from Paris to Marseille or whatever. You
Oh
know?
yeah, did you love it? I love Marseille.
Yeah, it was great, but it was so funny because like I'm.
Do you speak French?
Un petit. My girlfriend's fluent. I took it in high school. I'm bad.
Cool.
Right? I'm dyslexic.
Why is your girlfriend fluent if you don't mind me asking?
She just took it and
She
she's
just
like,
likes it?
yeah.
Hell yeah, same girl.
Yeah, so like it's nice for her job because she can like interview players in French, like full whatever. So
Well, especially, does she do Formula One at all?
no, but she loves it. She like is in all
Formula
the
One and
yeah.
Italian and French.
She wants to go to Miami for the thing next year. But it's funny because like when I was over there and drinking, like I know what you're saying. You know what I mean? It's the writing part I was bad at. Because I'm like full on dyslexic. Yeah. And so anyway, so I'm traveling with my family. And my mom and my stepdad, they're flying. They sit next to each other. My older brother, my younger brother, and I'm like, because I'm always the lone traveler, so I'm sitting. I'm like, all right, hopefully we're
not anymore. Now you have a partner.
Yeah, so I'm like, all right, hopefully I'm not.
That was the last time.
Yeah. So I'm like, hopefully I'm not. When you're on a plane, it's a little ass fucking plane. I'm like, hopefully I'm not sitting next to some like big ass person or whatever, right? This little ass French girl and her dad come up. I'm like, perfect. This girl like barely takes up the seat at all, right? Like,
amazing.
As soon as the plane takes off, this girl filled up about 4 barf bags.
Oh,
dude, I was like, did you give her a 5-course? Like, where? She's so little. Like, where is it coming from? I don't think she had ever flown before. She got nauseous, dude. And my parents were like, we got
first flight. You should always give your kid Dramamine,
dude. And like, I'm like, why did you like? I'm literally like, this girl is like this big, and I'm like, she is just like, I'm like, where is this coming from?
You're like, do you have the flu?
Yeah, I get off the plane. My parents were like, how was your flight? And I was like, awful.
Thank God it was short.
Yeah,
short
yeah,
flight.
yeah. It's a short flight. It was only like an hour.
I have to go to Greece in May.
Really? What part?
Going to Corfu.
Okay, my family's from Rhodes, the island. Yeah.
Okay.
But that's a whole story. My parents ended up
because I have to take a little jumper from Athens to Corfu.
I'm jealous. Actually, Alec just came back from Greece. Alec was over there.
How was it? It was amazing. It was so good. I'm going for a wedding. Yeah, it's a British wedding, so everybody's gonna be wasted.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Oh yeah, and I have the hen do like that week, so like they don't do bachelorettes, they do hen do.
You have such a I love Demi. I just love talking to you. You're literally such an interesting person. Like,
I'm a wealth of useless fucking information. Is what I
tune in when I'm on Stoner Origins because we're gonna be rehashing all this because we'll be high as shit. So we'll be talking.
I will be very high and so obvious. Yeah, no, but my friend Lauren, we've been best friends for a very long time. Every time I'm over in England, I always make a time to visit her and her family.
Yeah. Is she from there? Or?
Yeah. So I met her when she was studying abroad at UCLA.
Okay, cool.
We've been friends ever since, like, 8 years ago. I'm old. But yeah, I have to go to her wedding in Greece, and she was like, oh yeah, so we're gonna do the hen do that week. I'm gonna start a WhatsApp group chat, and you're gonna have so much fun. You'll like the girls; they're so sweet.
I bet she sounds exactly like that.
And I was like, amazing. I steal her backstory all the time when I go to like different towns to tour.
Yeah.
I steal my friends' backstories from other countries, and I pretend to be them.
Yeah, you do a good British. But you can tell you're friends with a British person.
Really fun for me.
That's why it's if you're imitating your friend, it's like the best way.
Oh yeah, because also if you are like lying to strangers, it's really great if you can go as close to the truth. So I just steal my friends' backstories because I think it's really funny when you go to a town where no one knows you and you pretend to be this really weird foreigner instead of just like a Californian.
Yeah.
And this is another fun poorism from when I first moved here. I used to go to the bungalow in Santa Monica.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember when that crazy hurricane happened in Texas? So they all came to California.
Like a few years back.
Yeah,
right?
when Rubio fucking panicked and went to Mexico.
Yes.
I had some good jokes about that. But
or Ted Cruz.
Yeah, Ted Cruz.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz. God, fuck, they all look the same.
Yeah.
They all look like the Zodiac. Let's be honest. So essentially, I used to go to the bungalow and I would talk in either an Australian, a British or a Scottish accent, and I'd let my friends vote on which accent I did that night, and I'd get us all free drinks that way. I'd get some weird Texan dude to think that was really exotic and cool.
That's awesome.
I'd be like, oh yeah, just a wee drink around the wind, you'll be alright. Let's just go. It's alright. Yeah, it's really nice.
sick.
Get that for
I used
me.
to do that on field trips in school, like growing
Yeah.
up. We'd go
Isn't
somewhere.
it
I go
so
full
fun?
British mode, but yeah, I'm here because my dad was a postman, but my mum, she was a nurse, so she got transferred over here.
Yeah, now I live
She's
here.
a
They're like,
postman.
we'd love to have you like at this school, and I'm like, oh really? Like,
Oh,
you know.
that's so nice of you to say. My mum would be really happy I made
Yeah.
such a good impression. Yeah, it's my favorite thing.
It's the best.
And the best part about British accents is there's like, you have your Cockney, you have Liverpool, you have
Yeah.
Manchester.
It was so fun, dude.
You have the Welsh, which is a whole
Yeah.
different fucking ballpark of weird. And then you have your posh.
Yeah. Yeah.
My-
You got some options to choose from.
You
man.
got
How
you
do I
got
wanna play
variety.
this out? Yeah.
Same with Scots though. Like if you're in Glasgow versus like Edinburgh, it's like completely different
Yeah.
dialects. And in Ireland too. I just did some stand up in Dublin after
dope.
I was in London.
Oh, that's
And it was
awesome.
super cool. I did a bunch of abortion stuff thinking they were gonna hate it because I thought it'd be funny.
Yeah.
I was like, Irish Catholics, you're gonna hate this.
Yeah.
They loved it. That was hilarious. Mainly
awesome.
because I was making fun of Texas, but that's fine.
Who in Europe is like the best to do stand up for? Like, what country do you think?
I think because I speak French really well, I like Paris.
Okay.
But I think Amsterdam was really cool.
I've heard Amsterdam.
I had a
like they
well,
love Americans.
They speak English better than most Americans.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's pretty depressing actually. Like you're sitting there and you're like, cool, Vlad.
Yeah.
I love that you know how to say this. Or Sven.
Yeah.
There's always some dude with a V in there that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah. Just like, I don't know where
Like,
this is.
what kind of like fucking like British person was just like, you know what? I'm gonna move to Russia, and they were like, he's not a lad, he's a Vlad.
It is
Yeah.
crazy how many different like dialects they have. Like my girlfriend's like best friend, she's married to a British dude, and he's like they're always like, dude, like you're he loves hanging out with you because no, like especially you drink when he's drinking, it's like hard to understand
It's
him.
so fun.
But I pick up because I have
It's like playing charades
Yeah.
without the hands.
Yeah, I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. It's fun to fuck with them. So the last usually half an hour ish of the podcast, we do like a little like pull subjects like recent events out of a hat and kind of
Okay.
riff on it. If you're down for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I can
Dude, I'm
do
gonna
it.
Okay.
piss myself. Though. I'm sweating now because I'm just like, I got to pee.
Go
so
pee.
bad.
Go
I'm
pee.
gonna
Yeah, this is
pee
perfect
real
time.
quick.
Well, let's pause.
Yeah, we'll take 5 minutes and we'll be right back with the game. That's usually we take a pause usually at this point anyway. So
Cool.
see you guys in a second.
Bye.
All right, guys, we're gonna play this game here.
Oh, yeah.
I'll let you do the honor. Actually, I'll pull the first one. Just
Yeah,
so you have
don't
guys. There we
pull.
go. Ladies
don't let me
first, but
pull.
yeah, I was like, we're too.
You got
Oscar
nicer hair.
Oscar nominations, reaction predictions. I don't even know who's nominated right now. Do you guys know? I can't really.
I do loosely. I know that Demi Moore got a lot of nods for Substance. I think Ariana Grande should have been nominated for the Oscar for Wicked.
I don't think I watched many movies this year. Now that I'm thinking about it. Like this was not like the best. I mean, I didn't see Wicked. Yeah, obviously.
I
you
think
did.
Conclave deserves Best Picture.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't see that either.
Conclave is the only movie about the church that isn't centered around fucking kids that has made me intrigued by the church in a
Yeah.
very long time.
Did you see Mel Gibson's making the Resurrection? He's making the Passion of the Christ too.
Yeah, dude, that's gonna be wild.
I think
Yeah.
my favorite was recently I saw like somebody like there was like, you know, those crew stories Instagrams. It was like, you know, the guy who played the original Christ was such an asshole. I was like, wow, a dude picked by Mel Gibson was a dick.
Yeah, right.
Imagine that. Imagine that.
We used to, as in high school, listen
I
to
just
Mel
want Mel
Gibson's
Gibson and
drunken
Charlie
rants
Sheen
and
to
just
do
crack
something.
up. Yeah, he was. Oh yeah, right. That would
That'd
be the
be
most
iconic.
unhinged, crazy.
It's just two straight white guys yelling slurs at
Yeah,
each
dude,
other.
that would
like,
be the most
over and over
unhinged.
again.
I saw someone post there was
Rated
like,
X
'cause Mel
movie.
Gibson's house burnt down in the fires, and they were like, "I can't believe we lost that much like German World War II memorabilia."
That's fucking funny. Though. That's a great bit.
Sorry, dude. I didn't mean to cut you up.
No, you're good.
Damn.
Here, let's go. I think I don't really know much
Okay.
about the Oscars this year.
Okay. Well, get educated.
Yeah, I'm
Are
trying.
you not? I'm sorry. Am I not sitting in the presence of an A-list member?
but- Yeah, right.
Why?
I go to the Look. You know, you've been to the Look.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my spot.
I'm a big Lemley fan.
Oh, okay.
I like
All
the
right.
Lemley. I miss the ArcLight. I once saw a woman cuss out a man at the ArcLight.
I want to check out that.
and
is
I've
that
never been so happy.
That's amazing.
Tarantino
Oh, the
did
new
that.
Buckley.
Yeah, I want to check that out.
That's been up for a while. Everything's shown on film.
Yeah, I want to go.
Oh my god, it's what we were talking about earlier. Favorite video game.
Oh, there we go.
Ooh.
Yeah, what's like your let's go like your favorite from like when you were a kid to your favorite like kind of recently.
Oh man. Okay, so when I was a kid, okay, can I go by console?
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know me, which is probably a lot of you, I'm a huge video game person. I love video games. On my Game Boy Advance, I used to really like the Yu-Gi-Oh game.
Dude,
Oh.
I used to play you.
Interesting.
I used to
That
play.
shit
I
was-
was one of the kids. I never got into Yu-Gi-Oh.
Dude, I used to play like the card game.
Oh
against
yeah,
people,
I have binders of my old
Oh, yeah.
Pokemon and
Yeah,
Yu-Gi-Oh
yeah.
cards that I've handed down to my
That's
nieces. I
crazy.
probably gave them so much money
Oh
by
my
doing
God.
that.
Yeah.
I have like original Mewtwo's and stuff.
They need
It's
to keep
crazy.
those. They need to keep
Oh,
those
they
protected.
are.
They
They're
understand.
very
Okay.
particular.
You're
Yeah.
such a
That's cool.
Ohio nerd. I love
Oh
you.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Such
You know,
a-
you had a stoop. That
Yeah.
one stoop
Oh,
that
yeah.
had the cement blocks
Oh,
you
yeah.
could play
We
shit
were
on.
playing
Yeah.
on it, yep.
Yeah. So I think Yu-Gi-Oh on my Game Boy Advance. On my Game Boy Color, it was the yellow Pokemon game.
Yep, I had yellow.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes,
that was
yes.
the good shit.
My brothers were red and blue, and I had
Uh-huh.
yellow.
Yeah.
My 64 it was James Bond GoldenEye.
Oh, yeah,
Ooh,
classic.
soundtrack.
Once you hit that laser gun, it's over
Oh.
for your siblings because
Yeah.
you had the whole map memorized.
100%.
And Pokemon Coliseum, that was a great game on that.
Oh yeah.
With my GameCube, it was the Pokemon Coliseum where you had a story. It was kind of RPG too.
Yeah.
Where like you had to get rid of the shadow Pokemon. That
Yeah.
shit was cool. I'm showing my
Dude,
real
the
nerd
entire time I was in
side.
New York, we were
I
playing
love
Pokemon
this.
Stadium
It's
on,
so
on the
fun.
Switch. We were playing Pokemon Stadium 2 on the Switch. Me and my
It's
buddy
so
just getting
fun.
high as fuck playing Pokemon Stadium 2.
It's such a good time. And then also on my GameCube was Simpsons Hit and Run, the original GTA. I really
Wow.
Yeah, you used to hit those.
That game is
That
nostalgic
took gaming
as
to the
fuck.
next level for
super
me.
solid.
Yeah.
Super great.
never
I
felt
also really
freedom.
liked the Pac-Man 2, which is the RPG.
You are a
Pac-Man.
gamer.
And I know. It's fun.
Like-
I still have my GameCube.
Yeah.
I rewired it in college so I could keep playing it.
Shit.
Yeah, my mom shipped it out to me when I moved out here because it was like one of the things that I just like left behind. I had the Lord of the Rings games on there.
Oh,
too.
those were the goated.
Those-
The
those
PS2,
were so good.
the PS2 Lord of the Rings games were
On
goated.
Those were
GameCube though,
sick.
it was sick.
Oh, they
Same
were
with
so
Harry
good.
Potter. So my mom was standing in line at the post office to ship me my GameCube as like a surprise for Christmas, along with my weird fucking connective cords that I had made to make the power cord work. And she literally had offers standing in line at the post office. People were like, "I will give you $300 for that
that
right
GameCube,
now."
yeah.
And my mom was like, "This," because it was the first big game system that I ever bought for myself with my own money. I saved up for forever. Saved up for that and a BMX bike, a mosh bike.
Can't get rid of that.
Yeah. So, can you believe that people thought I was straight? Then from there, we're hitting Xbox. It's Call of Duty 4.
Okay.
And if we're hitting PS5, which is what I play on presently, that on my Switch, it's gonna be Red Dead Redemption 2.
Hell yeah.
Because that's classic. You're a good man, Arthur Morgan. And then also I got really into the Horizon series lately. And I just finished Baldur's Gate 3, which I really liked.
I heard that was great, yeah.
It won awards. and
Baldur's
stuff,
Gate
yeah.
3 is really great. So, fun fact, that's another thing I used to do is I used to work on the Game Awards every year. I used to
That's
get called
dope.
in to work because a friend of mine does the marketing producing
sick.
for
I
it.
used to love
That's
watching
sick.
E3 and shit.
It's
and
fun. It's
Oh,
fun.
man.
And then for my Switch, it's Stardew Valley.
Okay.
Little gay girl action. And then and Zelda. I don't like
Oh my-
Tears of the Kingdom
Really? Why?
because I think you just brought Minecraft shit into Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was a little under. Like
I thought it was the
love Breath of
same
the Wild. Like
game.
Breath of, yeah, it was like playing the
It
same
was
game.
like
again.
it was an update for
Yes,
Breath of the Wild.
100%.
Essentially.
100%. I was like, I want a new
It
story.
didn't need to take that long.
Yeah.
To
I miss
do the
my-
same
I beat
thing.
it
The
anyway, but
shrines
it
are
was
in the
like,
same place.
yeah, it was just the
Everything's
same
It
shit.
is fun. Just
Except for they made like the
diving off
underground
a
and the
big
sky.
sky island though. I'm like, this feels amazing. It feels huge.
Breath
Yeah,
of-
but it's not even that different.
Yeah.
Dude, Breath of the Wild, Breath of the Wild though. I used to when I was working for the Penguins, I would literally at lunch, I'd bring my Switch to work and sit in the bowl. So I'd be at the whole fucking thing playing my Switch and the fucking thing, and
I would
I
do
was
that
obsessed
too.
with it because
Breath
me
of
and my
the
brothers were
Wild.
like,
I replay
who's gonna
it
beat it
from time
first?
to
You know what I
time.
mean?
Yeah.
Because I think it's fun to replay.
I mean, I love that.
It's-
Zelda's my like. If I'm talking like my favorite video game of all time is Ocarina. You know what I mean? Like it's my
Yeah.
favorite video. If I had to pick one, like if I'm being honest, like I know it's like
Breath of
kind
the
of
Wild
a,
is my 1 or 2.
really.
Next to Spider-Man for PS4. I've never like that one.
Which Spider-Man?
The first one.
Yeah, okay.
That just it.
I'm about to
felt
play the
so
second one now on
amazing.
this, and then they got the Miles Morales one too.
The
I
Miles
heard.
Morales one is really really good.
Yeah.
Shout out Phil Lord and Lord Miller Productions. The Across the
Oh, they
Universe
make
stuff is
incredible
amazing.
Dude, I thought it should have won Best Picture. I thought it was the first
no,
one.
and
I thought it was
think
that good.
absolutely. I think the second
I was
one
like,
should have
I'm
even
not.
over that.
I hate when like they don't take animated stuff as seriously because I'm like the biggest Dragon Ball Z fan in
As
the world.
someone who works,
There's
in
the Goku right there.
animation,
100%.
absolutely agree.
Yeah, so I'm like, dude, it's such a good. Like, I think Dragon Ball Z is the best TV show of all time. Like,
Well, Phil's such a nice dude. I think Phil deserves everything, and I think Phil really like,
R.I.P. Toriyama.
Phil like really helped to like revitalize that genre of animation. Like Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is the same production company. That's Lord Miller.
Yeah.
So like you have such a variety of this like span that they
21
do.
Jump Street too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you want to pick one and say your favorite video game?
Yeah.
Yep. Say your favorite video game.
Oh,
don't get to
it
pick
was
shit.
Breath of the Wild or PS4, but I don't know. You brought up a nostalgic factor when you were going through all the systems. There's nothing like playing your Game Boy like under the covers.
Oh,
late
man,
at night
yeah.
when your parents are like asleep. You
And
maybe
then,
hear
like,
them coming.
lights
You're
out,
like,
and
oh fuck.
I'm asleep.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I remember
like-
I played the Game Boy where you had to
Bring
get the
it
light,
back
you
out.
know, for it because like
Yeah.
it didn't even have the light up screen back in the day.
I'd be playing Mario Kart in my
Did you guys
ball
ever
pit.
just one last video game thing? Did you guys ever play that game Harvest Moon?
I played a little bit of it. My friend down the street had it on
This
PS2.
is such a queer girl game.
It was-
I
That's
realized.
That's why no one knows it.
I
don't know.
never knew what was going on. I was
It's
like,
literally Stardew
I've never
Valley
played it.
essentially, but like it's why I probably like Stardew Valley. It's
Another real
childhood.
last video game thing, real out of random.
We're gonna actually keep doing this back and
you ever
forth.
play Sonic Adventure on the GameCube?
Yes!
Dude, and
Oh,
play with the
yeah.
chows.
That's
the little-
Monkey Ball.
Yeah, dude, I love that fucking game. Me and my
Yes.
brother would play that forever.
yes.
Did you guys during the pandemic? Did you ever have an Animal Crossing birthday party?
No, I wasn't in that, but but
That was when
Okay.
I got
I didn't get
introduced
invited
to
to yours,
Animal
obviously.
Crossing.
I didn't because it was like kind of broken up by the time it was because my birthday's in August. But my friend Rocky,
Good month.
who makes all the beats for my podcast, he had like his birthday was like right after it started, and everyone was like really in the throes of Animal Crossing.
Yeah.
So he asked for stuff within the game that he wanted.
Oh, okay.
So we all on Zoom went to his island, all
Oh,
on our
that's pretty
Switches,
cool.
and we're drinking at home, like chatting about our characters. And the theme was like leather daddy, so all of our characters had to dress in leather, and it was fucking hilarious.
sounds pretty
Having a
funny.
leather daddy Animal
See, I need more like
Crossing
nerd. Like
party.
that's why I'm like all of us game, like me, Alec, and Noah. So
Or can I tell you something? When I this company I worked for, this film company, when I first moved to LA, it was like very corporate. We worked on like all Apple TV and like Disney Plus stuff.
Oh, amazing.
But it was very corporate, and it was like a weird environment. I just moved here from New York too, where like my boss would be like, you don't know how to plug that in. It's like dick and vagina, you know. And then over here, they're like, we don't really say hey here. Maybe just say hi in the email. I'm like,
Ugh.
what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, or sorry, we don't say cheers
Yeah,
at the end of an
yeah.
email. We're more of a best
Yeah.
kind of company.
It was weird.
I used to purposely end my emails with some offensive ass shit. I hate
remember I
that
said
kind
hey,
of stuff.
hey to teachers, and they go, it's hi, not hey. Hey's for horses. I go, all right, I just never say hi to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Again, they
will
was just never.
I'll
say hi to
ignore
teacher.
you for the
Yeah, I was
rest
like,
of
I
your
just
life.
want like fuck you.
You know, because of that, you deserve to.
Yeah,
be
I'm
fucking
not gonna say
annoyed.
hi to you
Yeah.
ever again.
When I
But go
started
ahead.
working there, they were like our team leader was like, "Hey guys, having an Animal Crossing party like Friday night." And I remember seeing it in Teams and being like, "What the fuck? Like this is weird." And then it got closer to it, and everyone's like, "Oh, I can't wait for it." And I'm like,
Shit,
I
am
the
I having
loser?
FOMO
And then
over
I'm
the
like at
Animal
home,
Crossing
like in bed. I'm like, should I go to this party or not? Should I go to this Animal Crossing party? And then I remember I was like, I'm not gonna do it. And then it was like, fuck, none of my friends are online, and it was just like coming up on that time, and I was like, I guess I'll check the party out. Like, I joined on Animal Crossing. I was like, fuck, I see these coworkers too. I'm like, I don't know what to say to them. I'm like on the side, like in the back of this corner with like a dark Animal Crossing outfit. Like, I don't know who to talk to at this party. Like, should I just leave? Should I go home? Like, I don't. This is so awkward.
It's a new type of social
Yeah,
awkwardness
it was
online.
Just all Animal Crossing. I'm just like, fuck, man.
It's like Club Penguin for adults, essentially. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, like, you guys want to be my friend? No.
No.
It's weird.
Oh.
I'm like, there's no booze
My
here.
favorite part was making fun of my friend's island. I walked through his whole island before I joined the rest of the party.
fuck is this
I was like,
shit?
what the fuck are you doing? We got the beach,
Yeah.
fucking
You build
diner?
a bridge right here.
Yeah.
You fucking idiot.
queer?
It's like Italians going to a wedding, be like, how much do you think this costs? Like,
Yeah. What do you think the insurance on this building is?
yeah.
Oh my god.
No, you want to put one, and then do you have to
Okay,
go?
yes.
Or-
Yeah, I gotta-
Okay,
I
so
gotta go to
we'll
work.
Yeah,
put
you're the
and
one
then-
with an out,
I know,
and you're
I'm
prolonging this with your Animal Crossing
sorry.
FOMO.
Yeah.
JFK, RFK, MLK, files to be released. I thought this was Kill Fuck Marry for a second.
I was like, I know who I'm
Definitely marrying MLK.
Oh yeah, I just heard about this. Like all these files are being released. Oh my god, RFK! I can just imagine him.
I mean, they're definitely gonna.
Trying to take out my family.
I wanted to get rid of Dr. Pepper, so Dr. Pepper's getting rid of me.
Not a
Yeah.
lot of people know that Martin Luther King was actually my brother.
Worms in my brain.
we killed a bear and
Hello,
left
it's
it
my
in Central
great aunt.
Park.
Yeah.
But I don't know what.
JFK and MLK were at war, but nobody knows that.
Yeah, well, the CIA killed all three of them.
Solid.
So. Yeah, the CIA killed all three of them. I guess that's what we're gonna find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's gonna be interesting. I can't wait to dive into that.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I mean, I'm not
Oh,
gonna
the
dive
conspiracy
in.
theorists
I
are
made
good.
myself sound like really far right, like right now. Oh, I can't wait to dive into that. Let's see what really happened.
Yeah,
you
get
know?
the tinfoil hat out.
Yeah.
Triple E.
What,
Is
yeah.
it you?
But yeah, it's probably gonna be that Lyndon Johnson probably killed him.
You think?
Probably. They were probably like, "Hey man, we'll make you president." Like we all want him gone.
I just think David Lynch had the right idea of dying now.
Yeah.
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 Like, isn't it also crazy that, not to go completely off the rails here, but David Lynch and David Bowie both took a dive right before Trump's presidency?
Yeah, they're
Oh
gone.
my god.
The symmetry there is
Yeah.
beautiful. And that's, you know...
Yeah. Oh, can I ask a film question really quick?
Yeah.
Because they're remaking Labyrinth. Who the fuck could be David
First of
Bowie?
all,
in that?
no.
Again.
No. I'm super against it.
Can we
I-
make new movies? Everything's a fucking remake.
I
I
quote
know.
Labyrinth. I
Fucking
quote
dude.
Labyrinth on a daily.
Forget about the
Yeah.
baby.
I go turn back, Sarah, all the time. Or have you ever like? So I was having sex once, and,
Just
and
once.
I thought it was funny because we had just watched Labyrinth, and I was like trying to instruct this dude. And I was like, don't go that way, like the word, because I thought it was hilarious. And then I was like, should I go the other way? Should I go straight to the castle?
Yeah.
And he did not find it.
Yeah.
I've never felt someone get soft inside me so fast in my entire life.
I'm surprised.
But
They didn't get it going.
so good because I was like, I would have just started laughing and fucking me harder. Like but that's just who I am.
Yeah.
I guess that's the difference between
So-
the strength
hey,
of a woman and the strength of a man.
Yeah, that's how you find out about people.
But I think
sometimes.
the only person who might be able to pull it off is Tom Hiddleston.
Okay. Oh,
But
do they have to show his balls
Yeah.
as much as Bowie's
I
too?
was about to say because that movie was
That's a-
David Bowie
that's a big
featuring
part of it.
featuring David Bowie's balls.
100%.
That was like the whole.
The Bowie balls
I
was
made
fake.
Mike Falzone and his wife watch that movie with me once because I was like, I love this movie. And Mike was like, I've never seen it, and I was like, the effects don't hold up, but it's super
But David
good.
Bowie's dick does.
But David Bowie's dick still slaps.
Yeah.
I get what his wife saw in him besides the platinum record.
That dick's timeless, all right?
Yeah.
It still
Yeah.
holds up.
Oh my god.
The bog of stench.
Oh my god, it's the best.
Oh,
It's the best.
Uh,
I gotta head out,
Okay.
guys. I love
Yeah.
you guys. but
Love
I
you.
gotta go. I gotta go to the ice house.
he
Yeah.
has to like do his job.
I
Yeah.
know. I know.
Ah,
loser.
this guy.
fucking suck.
All right, we're gonna keep this going, me and Demi, and finish off these topics here. Love you, dude.
Amazing pod. Very nice getting to hang
Nice
with you.
getting to
And we'll be
hang
doing
with
it soon. We'll have another episode.
Yeah,
yeah.
We'll hang.
Very soon.
You can just come with Augie to mine.
There we go.
Yes. Hell
Perfect.
yes.
All
What we
right, are you
got?
ready?
I'm ready.
I'm shaking him.
Yeah, shake it. I don't know what we got here. It's a fun game, huh?
I enjoy it. It's like doing the riff raff show with not having to stand.
This is probably gonna be more than one, but what's actually, yeah, we'll try to make it one. What's the top thing on your bucket list?
Oh, that's weird because I don't
I know.
really think about dying that much.
Yeah, I think about it.
I
every
think
day.
about wanting to die. I think about wanting to die, but like not what I would do if I was
Yeah,
dying and
yeah,
I
true.
knew.
I remember
Top-
just to preface. I remember these comics one time. It was one of the worst conversations I had to be a part of or
Sounds
near.
about right.
Yeah, it was like they were all like, if you killed yourself, like where would you do it? And someone's like, I jump off the 8th tower, blah blah blah. And I was like, I'd fucking nosedive from a balcony. I'm not gonna like
Yeah, I don't
fly
need,
to Paris just to
You
kill.
know what I
myself.
don't need to spend a lot of money
Yeah.
to kill myself.
Yeah. I don't know. One thing on my bucket list, I definitely want to do a special at the Bynum Theater in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
That'd
fuck
be like
yeah.
my dream.
I think it would be to have one of my films at South by.
Okay, that'd be dope.
Yeah, one of my directed films at South by.
That's a good answer. Yeah. All right.
It's all about work.
No,
Like,
yeah, right, yeah.
You know what
Well-
I'd like to do? Work.
Well, it's funny. Alex Young he was like, I'm doing a stand up with Ronnie Chang in Pittsburgh,
Oh, I
and
love
so he
Ronnie.
hit me up and was asking me like where to go, and stuff. And I go, what are you doing, the improv? And he goes, no, I'm doing the Bynum. And I was like, dude, that's my
You
dream.
fucking asshole.
Yeah, I was like, that's my
yeah.
fucking dream. I was like, 'cause I saw Chris Rock there when I was working for the Penguins, and that's when another part of me being like, I want to do this. Like,
Yeah, I think that's like, we all have that like weird envy within us, like when our friends hit a theater that we've been wanting to do.
yeah, I'm like, that's my dream.
You know, like I had a friend who played at the Apollo, and I was like, "Oh, you asshole!"
Yeah.
And then I was like, "I'm so happy for you, and
Yeah.
I want that for you,
Yeah.
but you did."
Yeah, it's like I've been telling everyone because I'm like, I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
but
I'm
it's
so
like,
proud of
yeah.
you. Fuck you,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
fuck your mother.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, every
Yeah.
time.
Go ahead, pick one.
Okay. We're running low. I can't like quit as much. Can't make a show of it
Yeah.
any longer. Trump wants to buy Greenland.
Oh God. He doesn't even want to buy Canada, or
You want to buy Greenland, but you can't sit outside in the cold. Is wild.
doesn't
to
he want
me.
Canada to be like a state too, or something?
Yeah, and
like,
I
part of
love
it.
that Justin Trudeau is like, I'm resigning before this even starts.
I don't even
I'm
want to deal
out.
with it. Yeah,
You know what? My family's been dealing with this for generations.
that's fucking funny.
So, you know, they made the Gulf of America like official
Yeah, it's
for
like-
us. I'm like, you think the rest of the world? I'm like, in my head, I'm just like, did anyone sit there and explain the history to this man?
We're living
that
in the
all of those
funniest-
states in the Gulf of Mexico were originally part of Mexico, which is why it's called the Gulf of Mexico.
We're living in the funniest timeline.
I think we're living in the most depressing timeline where every day I just bang my head against my kitchen counter and go, why?
Yeah.
I wish I would have been rather born as Rosemary Kennedy with a fucking lobotomy coming my way than be fucking born into
Good reference.
this. Like, no.
Yeah, I don't even know anymore. But
And also, as someone who loves Viking history, that man could not survive a moment in Greenland.
no, it's
I got really into Viking history like a year ago. I read a bunch of books about it.
That's what I there was a time in my life where I was like, I'm just gonna be a history teacher and coach football. So I love history.
I
I'm
love
like-
history.
like,
So for every fiction book I read a nonfiction.
okay. I'm a huge Game of Thrones.
I have a
fan.
book I wanna loan you.
Cool.
I was looking at your bookshelves. That's what I was getting nosy about.
I was literally
earlier.
right before you got here. I literally have Norm Macdonald's book on my bedside, like it's like the Bible.
I was just walking through looking at all those shelves, like I know what I could loan him.
Weirdest stand-up experience. I'll let you go first if you think of one.
Weird positive or weird negative?
I was like me getting attacked on stage. that was
Yeah,
pretty
no,
weird.
that's pretty weird.
Yeah, someone trying to tackle me.
I used to have a bunch of Scientologists follow me
Really?
around. Yeah.
Why? Like fans or
No.
they didn't like it?
I'm banned from the Church of Scientology.
Oh, yeah.
I used to do this bit, and I still do it from time to time because, you know, it was like one of those like first long-winded bits that
Yeah,
you
yeah.
do. And I think it's a really good bit still, but I got in so much weird shit with it, and I started having all these Scientologists show up
What?
because I was doing a bit about how I thought that if you founded Christianity during the age of Twitter, it would also be hard. And I thought if anything, I was being kind
Yeah.
to the people.
Yeah,
in
that's a good bit.
Scientology,
That's
which I
funny.
thought was really funny.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
all the apostles having different Twitters.
Yeah.
And it just came off as one big cult. And I was like, so, see, you know, Christianity, Scientology, both cults, one of them's just more accepted. Scientologists did not like that. They did not like that. And I found out because I had Scientologists in a show once at the Haha, and they stood up and they were like, how dare you speak about Scientology like that? And I was like, crazy behavior. I feel like Christians should be way more mad
Yeah,
at me right
right.
now. And yeah, so I had all these Scientologists started showing up at my shows and
That's
like
crazy.
not wanting me to be able to perform.
That's so fucking crazy.
Yeah. So I think that was like the most weird negative. Weird positive was like I think probably one of the first times I met Bill. Where like, you know, he's like someone that you've looked up to for a long
Yeah,
time
for
and that
sure.
you love and
Yeah,
care
yeah.
about. And because I worked with Mike Price at one point, we were talking about Mike Price because Mike Price runs his show for him.
Yeah, yeah.
It's F is for family. So
No,
and we
yeah.
became homies and we talked about NBA.
I actually had someone fucking come up to me after a show and give me a card, and I was like, "Oh, is this like an agent?" And someone came up to me and was like, "That's his cult. Like he's in a cult." And I was like, "Oh." So I threw away the card.
Isn't it weird how often when you're in entertainment you get recruited into
Yeah.
cults?
So I was like, "Oh, nice! Like you had a good set. Someone's giving me their.
Someone's
thing."
giving me their
Yeah,
card for to be my
yeah,
commercial
yeah.
agent,
And
and
someone's
it's
like,
just some guy that's like, "Would you like to fuck ants in the back of the
yeah,
seat?"
yeah. You want to cut off the head of some goats? I'm like, what?
We're gonna kill children next week. Would
Yeah, I
you
was
like
just
to come?
like, I went from being pumped to just like, that sucks. Like,
Oh damn! Not again.
yeah. You're up.
Okay. All right. Favorite conspiracy theory?
I don't know. The moon landing one's fun.
Okay.
That one's fun. I mean, I think we did it, but it's fun to. There's a lot that says we might not have.
There's a lot that didn't happen.
Yeah, I like that one Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's. Like,
I love Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, he's like, he goes, yeah, they went to Stanley Kubrick. You know, that's who people think they filmed it or whatever. He's like, we went to Stanley Kubrick, and they were like, all right, well, let's get this together, and you know, it'd probably be easier if we just shoot it on location. You know, it's like probably easier to just go to the moon and shoot it there. Yeah.
I think mine is that 9/11 was an inside job.
Oh, that's actually probably the best one. I retract that. That is because we were 9/11 kids. So
I totally believe that.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think there's any other world in which you make a bunch of first and second graders sit in their schools still and watch that happen.
Yeah, no, I 100%. That is a good one.
I remember this kid named Matt ripped ass in the middle of the second tower getting hit, and I just remember thinking, damn.
See, they hid it from us. They didn't tell any of us.
Oh,
and
no.
then
They made every single kid in my school sit. They turned off the lights and put on the news.
I remember every kid got called out of school except for me. Like, I was like one of the last kids left. Like, and I was like, Mom, why didn't you, like, everyone's leaving.
Like, I'm fucking working.
Yeah.
I didn't get to leave because some fucking asshole in a building got hit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
the Pentagon, not my problem.
Yeah. I remember
Pentagon paycheck.
I remember coming home from school, though, and I'll never forget. I was like, what happened? She goes, we're under attack. I was like, oh, all right. Like,
not we're
I'm
under
in third
attack.
grade. Yeah, I was like,
I don't know. I feel like, George Bush is our silliest goose of a president. I don't think that he could know because he wouldn't be able to lie that well.
I mean, it was definitely Cheney. You know, if you see that.
Oh, dude, Cheney was just fucking
Bastard.
demon.
Did you see that movie with him and Christian Bale?
Christian Bale. Oh, yeah.
That was a good movie.
Dude,
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, you have no bid contracts for Halliburton. It's like 100%. Like,
yeah,
the guy got filthy rich.
Absolutely an inside job, and I think Bush was just like the perfect patsy because he's so delightfully dumb.
Perfect scapegoat.
You picked a cheerleader as your scapegoat.
100%. Dude just wants to get fucked up and play
golf. People just
golf.
forget that. Like did you see him during the inauguration this week?
Oh my god.
He literally is just like
he's slapping Obama around the tummy and stuff.
Yeah, he's like, thank God my girl Michelle's here. Like him and Michelle's friendship is probably my favorite.
I really feel like he's our
dirty uncle.
He's like the guy from Harold and Kumar. He's really like when he's like, whoa, you smoke weed and you arrest people for smoking weed? Doesn't that make you like a hypocrite? Let me ask you something, Kumar. You like getting hand jobs? Yeah. You like giving hand jobs? No. He goes, doesn't that make you a hypocritizer? Now sit down and smoke my weed. It's like that. I love that fucking.
That is actually very accurate. No, but like, I mean, I think he's just hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, sure, you're not the greatest person.
Yeah. You might have killed 1 million Iraqis, but.
I always think Robin Williams used to have this bit where he talked about Bush and he compared him to Rain Man. And he was like, and Cheney's in the back, like, well, tell him the price of gas. Nope, definitely don't know the price of gas. Definitely don't know the price of gas. And it's the funniest fucking bit. I laughed by it. I think it was at his show at the Met. Mm-hmm. But definitely, if you haven't watched Robin Williams' old stand-up, it's fucking unbelievable.
That's my favorite thing, just real quick stand-up thing again, is when you perform in the OR and you walk by his neon, like, right when you're going on. That's my favorite.
It kind of gives you that, like,
100%,
aha moment in your chest.
That's my favorite room to do.
Because I remember when I first moved out here and I was, like, kind of starting, and, like, at first it seems like it's so far away that you could do that. But then the blind confidence within you was like, but it's not.
Yeah.
You can do that. You'll
be
there next week.
That's my favorite room to do is the OR.
Yeah, I love the OR.
What do we got here? Best/worst weed experience.
So many.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say.
I was a prolific stoner. Best weed experience. I think I got really, really high before seeing Khruangbin play at the Greek.
That's dope.
And that was up there. I love Khruangbin. They're nominated for Best New Artist this year, actually.
That's dope.
Which is crazy because they've been around for forever. But they're an amazing group from Texas. They did an album with Leon Bridges called Texas Sun and also Midnight Sun, which is the B-side of that. But, again, nerd. But they're super great. I saw them at the Greek, and I just remember thinking the whole time, I wish I was on shrooms, but I was really high. And, at the Greek, everybody's handing joints around everywhere you are. So that was great. I did cuss out a dude during the Death Cab for Cutie show while I was smoking weed because he was like, oh God, so all these people it sold out for all this emo shit, and it was the anniversary of Transcendentalism. It was sold out at the bowl. And I looked over at him and I was like, if you don't like it, you should just fucking leave before I throw you down this fucking bowl. And he was like, what? And I was like, I have waited my whole life to see this man sing this album
Yeah, shut up.
in person. I will kill you.
Yeah.
But I think my worst weed experience was I had a really bad panic attack in Paris this summer.
Yeah.
I went to the Bibliothèque Nationale.
Oui,
Yeah.
oui.
Oui. Awful.
Yeah.
So if you haven't been to the National Library of France, which is in Paris, it's near the Sorbonne. It's 6 big rounds that have different kind of genres in them.
Okay.
And I was really excited because I wanted to go in there and see the Medici selection that they have, because I'm deeply obsessed with the Medici family. And Catherine Medici, if you do not know, was the Queen of France. And she came from a long line of politicians and popes, originally started by Cosimo the Magnificent Medici.
Ah.
Yeah, again, nerd. So I got really into it, and I go into this fucking library, and I'm thinking I'm fine, and I'd smoked my vape pen outside that I'd gotten from a French friend of mine. It was not a good vape. Like, you know, like when you hit the wrong oils and you can feel the anxiety coming on.
Yeah, you're like, oh, what I
in
smoke.
the Uber for like
Yeah.
the last 2 blocks, I was like, I'm gonna walk the last 2 blocks, and I'm thinking I'm just having normal anxiety, and it wasn't anxiety, like it was the weed, because I hit the pen one more time, and that sent me into a spiral.
Oh God.
And I was just like, this is the worst day of my life. And so I'm in one of the big rounds, and I'm just kind of walking through, and my phone goes off in the middle of the most silent library that's set like 6 stories tall. And so the echo is insane, and all you hear is my phone with my fucking like don't like going off, because I had Simpsons ringtone at the
It
time.
was just Homer.
Yeah, going don't, and like I literally was like, I couldn't find my phone in my bag, so I'm like having the worst panic attack of my
God.
life while all these French people are looking at me like, you stupid fucking American. And I think that was definitely the worst. What's yours? What's your worst?
See,
Because I feel like weed's hard to have a bad experience with, and
Well,
it has to
that's
be
what I'm
like
saying,
playing on your already mental
yeah, I was gonna
issues.
say, like, I don't think I've had like much like bad weed experiences other than like getting caught by my parents when I was young or something like that. You know what I mean? I have funny like my friends being fucked up on it. Like I remember my one friend, he hit my friend's bong, and we were going to see his ex-girlfriend who I hadn't seen since they broke up, and we're going to her farm. We're like in the high school, and a bunch of us were like smoking before we go. And he hits
On a
the
farm.
Yeah, he hits the bong, and he's just on a different planet, and he's in the corner just like coughing for like an hour. He finally comes back over. He like can't talk, and finally first words he says in like an hour or two, he just goes, the whole time I was over there, I didn't know who or where I was. We were like, what? like
Oh, and this is like high school, right?
Yeah.
So it's like PA weed. It's not even good
yeah,
weed.
literally. And we're like
Do
dying
you ever think about like people from our high school having our weed?
all the time. I think about it all the time, because I'm like, because when I moved out here, people were like, oh, what did you like smoke growing up? I'm like, whatever the guy was selling. It wasn't like we had a choice. It wasn't
I
like,
knew I was fine. Yeah.
It wasn't like,
well, what
you remember like there was like
terpenes-
mids.
what
Remember like
terpenes
mids
are
back in the day, like
activated?
shitty,
Yeah.
like everything's heads now because like the fucking industry. But
Well, and that's why I started my podcast. Was like, we're the last generation of people who had to know somebody's
Yeah.
brother's cousin.
yeah,
In order to
smoking
have weed.
Beasters, like which was just shittier mids. But
Yeah.
like,
You have a Black and Mild that you
Yeah.
got all the fucking
Oh,
tobacco
God.
out of. Yeah.
yeah, but this last one we kind of already did. It's flat earthers. We're kind of a conspiracy. I think we know where we're. That's a pretty.
I think we know that we're in the educated.
Yeah, I think
bunch of
there's
people.
round. That's hey, we're breaking new barriers on Sense of Humor TV.
And it all comes back to Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah. But Demi, this has been really fun.
It's
Yeah, this
always
has been
blast to
awesome.
hang with
I'll
you.
give you a hug as soon as we get up here. Can you plug like your podcast and your channels and
Yeah,
everything?
so I have 2 I don't know which one I'm looking at.
Yeah,
I've
anyway,
just
he'll
been
cut to
looking
it.
across all of you. So I have 2 podcasts. One is called Stoner Origin Stories. The second season will be dropping soon. Auguste will be on
Can't
the
wait.
second
Tune
season.
in
It's
for
going to
that.
be really fun. And then from there, I also have my other podcast, which is called Love at First Mic. And it's me and Alex Alvarez, and we go on and we talk about everyone's favorite rom-coms, whether they're classic movies, newer movies, and we shit on everyone's favorites.
That sounds fun.
And it's really fun.
And like I said, this will probably air in like a week or 2. Demi's gonna be on Auguste DeRose-Jones and Joker. So guys, please come out to that. You guys have been great.
Coming.
Like I said, we got
Follow
the
me on
raise
Instagram.
1,000+. Yeah, follow her on Instagram. What is it, Demi York? Or?
It's that bro Demi.
Yes, I love your because you are
Yeah.
that bro. She is that bro. Well, for me, I want to shout out Alec, John, our producer director, always killing it, giving us the great questions, setting everything up. Shout out Noah, he had to leave, but love you guys. We'll see you next episode. Sense of Humor TV out. Thanks.